Going to the end zone. What a night, Bo Sparks. Make it 4.
Shakes through a couple of tacklers. Still on his feet. Hawkins to the end zone. Unbelievable.
This is Chasing the Natty, a college fantasy football podcast. All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good to see you all here on a Monday night. We are back with another college fantasy draft live stream where myself and a special guest will run through a 30-round college fantasy draft, as well as answer your questions in the chat live on the show. For those of you that don't know who I am, my name is Jared Palmgren. I'm the host of the Chasing the Natty podcast, a year-round show dedicated to the great sport that is college fantasy football. Joining me tonight is Mr. Justin Leo, aka Volume Pigs on Twitter, at Volume Pigs. There you can also find his great work over at volumepigs.com. Justin, one of the best writers in the college fantasy space, does incredible work every single year. And so, glad to have you on. Justin, man, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, man. I just got back from my trip to Austin this weekend, did a tadpole, so got a nice dry run in on the P4 only draft, so I feel really prepared for this one. Definitely wanted to be prepared. Now we got a good group of guys here, so yeah, happy to be back on the show too, man. Thanks.
I will definitely want to ask you more about that Tadpole Bowl experience, but you mentioned it there, Justin. We got a bit of a wrinkle for us tonight in terms of our college fantasy draft. This week, we have the great honor in the fact that Yahoo has officially launched their college fantasy platform, and it is Power 4 only, which is definitely a little bit different than what we normally do on this show. But obviously, with everyone starting up their drafts this week for it, people are going to want to see what does one of these drafts look like from Yahoo, and what does it look like when it's Power 4 only. So that's what we're going to do tonight. Yahoo, normally when we do these drafts, these are normally like, $5 best ball leagues, but Yahoo doesn't do best ball. So what I set up here tonight is we're still going to do 30 rounds. We're still going to do kind of our normal roster setup where we have 2 quarterback, 2 running back, 3 wide receiver, 1 tight end, and 2 flex options. Go full 30 rounds in Power 4, which should definitely get interesting by the second half of that. But again, because they don't do best ball, we're still going to set lineups in this league, but we're not going to be picking up waivers. We're not going to be trading with each other or anything like that. So what we draft tonight is what we're working with for the season. So yeah, that's kind of the basic setup for tonight and everything. You know what? I'll go ahead and throw us over to the draft stream page. I've got it set up here. I currently have it on a 5-minute pause. I couldn't get it to start exactly at the time that I wanted to because I normally start the draft at 8:10, but Yahoo only does it in 15-minute increments. So we're gonna pause it again here in about a minute and a half, so we can start again at that 8:10 time. But in the meantime, if y'all are in the chat, which there's a ton of you already, and the chat's super lively tonight, I love seeing it. Make sure you're dropping questions. Again, this is a brand new platform for us, a new style of draft here tonight in terms of it being Power 4 only for this year. So if you got questions with regard to that, go ahead and drop those. Justin, let's talk about this Power 4 only treatment here. What is different going into a Power 4 only draft for college fantasy, specifically with a league like this where we have our normal starting group of like 2 quarterback, 2 running back, 3 wide receiver, 1 tight end, 2 flex?
Yeah, well, obviously it's a smaller player pool, right, than compared to the all G5 and P4. So with the smaller player pool, we were chatting about it before the show, Jared, definitely higher priority on quarterbacks in these drafts. I saw it yesterday or a couple days ago in the Tadpole League that I'm in. And as you were mentioning, if you do any underdog stuff like that, you'll see quarterbacks getting picked earlier for sure in P4 only drafts. Of course, you still have the same priority at running back, I think, on that. So, I think the big difference really is quarterback there. You still have a high priority at running back. The other positions I don't know are all that different. I think the big one really is QB, and certainly like even more so than usual, you got to get those running backs shored up as well. So those are the 2 main positions that I think you really have to focus on.
I would definitely agree. The running back doesn't really change all that much, even in a Power 4 only format. It is going to be a position that dries up, especially with 30 rounds here. We're going to see that drop off a cliff in a big way. at some point. But quarterback is also going to be the thing that really drops off at some point. Wide receiver, obviously, we'll have our top guys kind of like we normally do in regular drafts, right? I mean, you would expect to see, Tony and Smith come off the board, and then at some point in the first couple of rounds, Amari Thomas, Wyatt Young, maybe Isaiah Satanian, KJ Duff, depending on how people tonight view those guys. They'll be off in the first couple of rounds, but you'll still feel pretty halfway decent drafting wide receivers, even going into like the 20 plus rounds. Like there's going to be guys you're going to be happy to take a shots on, offensive systems you're willing to take a shot on. Speaking of offensive systems, one thing we're not playing with tonight in our draft, but it is going to be a feature of the Yahoo Fantasy platform going forward, Justin, is the team offense. Like we're used to team defenses over on Fantrack, but the team offense is a new type of roster spot that Yahoo is introducing with their league. And Eric Froton, who runs all of it over at runs all the college fantasy content over at Yahoo Sports, did a great job explaining it in his article. Let me see if I can pull it up here real quick, so I can explain it here. Yes, so the way the team offense is scored is any touchdown scored by the offense is plus 3 points. First 300 yards of offense is 1.5 points. Every additional 50 yards after that is a quarter of a point right there. Turnovers is -2. Field goals is +1. If the team wins the game, that's +1. If the team loses the game, that's -1. Now, I'll admit that based on that scoring, it doesn't seem like they would put up that many points, but Eric did all the math from last year, and it looks like Indiana's offense last year was the team offense 1 last year, and they were scoring about 20 points a game for your fantasy team. So definitely not something you can just kind of overlook there if you do have those in your league. Like I said, we're not playing with that tonight, but Justin, what would be your strategy just overall? Like if you went into a draft with that feature in there, what would you be looking for?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I haven't spent a lot of time thinking about it. Haven't done any of these drafts yet, so I don't know. I'm not really sure like what range people would typically be drafting those.
Oh, I have zero clue what people would be taking those. I barely know when kickers and DSTs come off the board.
Honestly, like I might even just approach it like if it's a league with waivers, approach it the same way I do with DST and not even draft one and then just stream it week to week. So like what I do in my home league is like we have 30 rounds. I don't even take a DST, and then week 1 before the first game, some point I'll just drop a player and pick up a DST, and then it's just rinse and repeat every week, just sort of because I don't think there'd be one that I'd want to hold on. That's not really how I would do it. I don't think, but I guess we'd see. How about you?
I think I'd be in a similar boat. I think probably what would happen is I would have maybe 7 or 8 that I'd be willing to draft. Basically just kind of give myself a floor at that position every single week.
Yeah.
But if like say I miss the run, right? Like I'm on the turn and the run goes and all of my offenses come off the board and I'm just left there. At that point I would be in the same boat as you, where I'd be like, all right, I didn't get one of the teams that I wanted. I'm just gonna either wait till the very last round and start streaming from there, or just wait till the last round and start streaming from there. And then every week I'm looking at the over/unders, looking at which games are expected to score the highest, and just picking teams from matchups like that. Right now, if you didn't have the option to stream, like if you didn't have the option to pick up teams week after week, right? Say you're in a best ball league, Justin. I know that Yahoo doesn't offer that, but say you're in a league where they turn that off. What would you be looking for?
Yeah, I guess teams that have staff that move quickly on offense, run a lot of plays. Look at last year's highest scoring teams, points per game, and if it's the same staff and a lot of returning production, maybe look at that. Look at teams that have returning starting quarterbacks. You can really just look at teams that have a lot of players that are relevant in CFF in terms of like our draft process. Texas is one, right, where all their receivers are getting drafted, running backs drafted, quarterback, of course. So if there's teams out there where a lot of pieces are getting drafted and are typically sort of teams that have scored a lot with that staff, that's probably one that I'd definitely take a look at. And then, also sort of looking at pace of play. So, a guy like Alex Golish, we don't know how it's going to go at Auburn this year, but, that sort of style of coaches who move fast and run a lot of plays.
Yeah, I think I would rely on the coaching staffs as well. I think when I put together my list earlier for this week's CTN for team offenses, I really did just kind of start relying on like, all right, which staffs do I like? So like Lincoln Riley, right? Brett Lashley, I like that offense quite a bit. Ben Arbuckle at Oklahoma, like I trust them to put together solid offenses. So the draft has started. So officially, Andrew there is on the clock. He takes Jeremiah Smith for first pick off the board. Not a surprise whatsoever here. And then Kevon Lacey right after that. I have the 1-7 pick, it looks like. Yes, 1-7. And then Justin, you are where? You are down there at the 1-11. So what are you kind of hoping falls to you there at the 1-11, Justin?
Yeah, I don't think there's any surprise in terms of the position I'm looking for there in the first round. Definitely looking at running backs. First and foremost, hoping I can figure out how to draft a player on the UI. Yeah,
there's a big purple button next to it that says draft.
Okay, I don't see it on mine. I guess
once you're on the clock, it'll show. So I'm on the clock now. I'm deciding between a couple of players right now. But I'll just lean towards one of my favorite first round picks here. I'll go Antoine Raymond atop. Let me actually pull up my Power 4 rankings from last year so I can reference those a little bit better. So yeah, Antoine Raymond was RB5 in Power 4 only formats last year. So I fully expect him to be in a similar range again this year. Obviously, they lose Ethan Kaliak-Manis, which apparently people think is the biggest deal in the world for this Rutgers offense. The offense is going to tank without the Greek rifle. Although he did get drafted decently highly, so maybe I'm wrong about that. But
yeah, he was there forever, right? He was like a 3-year starter. So, I mean, definitely, had a lot of experience over there. He just took Nate Shepard. Okay. Take Deshaun Bishop there.
Great. That was the other guy I was deciding between. So, honestly, the fact you got Deshaun Bishop to fall to you there at 111 is great.
A little surprised that he came back, on a P4 draft only. So, I'll take it.
So now you're on the turn here. So you're going to double tap running back?
I'm not going to give it away, Jared. I know these guys are listening, so
true enough.
Don't want to tip my hand here.
All right, we are rolling here. Cam Cook there off on the turn, and we got 2 running backs off the board there with Cam Cook and Aeneas Williams. 2 upside plays there.
So we have we have a whole minute to pick, right? So these guys are drafting quick. So I don't know why I'm rushing through this. Let me take a couple of seconds here.
While Justin's making his pick, I'll remind all of you out there, make sure you like the stream. Again, that helps us out a ton. It helps us get in front of the eyeballs of people who might be interested in this kind of stuff. Make sure that you are leaving questions in the chat. Once we get through the first couple of rounds, I'll be going back through the chat and trying to find any questions I might have missed. And if you put questions way back at the beginning of the chat, I would recommend that you just go ahead and copy and paste those down here near the bottom of the chat so that I can just see those again and make sure I don't miss it. So, Justin, you went Deshaun Bishop to start and then Darius Taylor as your second pick. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, well, surprise, surprise, right? Double tap with the running backs there. And also these are a couple of guys I think I've been drafting in the offseason in best balls as well. So, yeah, Deshaun Bishop, I like him this year, returning to that same program, same staff. We don't know what's going to happen at quarterback. I think they're going to lean on the run game a lot there.
Oh, I'm on the clock. Sorry.
Go ahead.
For some reason, I was thinking that I was at the turn. I think I'm going to go ahead and just take Ja'Kirian Turner here. I think it's actually the same start I had in the Kings Classic. Antoine Raymond and then Ja'Kirian Turner. I like
both of those guys.
And then again, this is full point PPR. Technically a little risky because of the new core order or whatever. The fact that some of these guys can come back and Desmond Reed can come back. I'm not as worried about it, honestly. Go ahead and load it up.
Who knows what's going to happen with those guys at this moment? So I don't think you should shy off Turner.
No, I again, especially in full PPR league here, I believe. I said it in the Kings Classic draft, or maybe I just said it to the people around me. But again, Antoine Raymond's my RB3 in full PPR, and then Ja'Kirian Turner actually jumps up from my RB, I think 11 in like half PPR format to RB5 in full point PPR.
Yeah, so, a lot of receiving usage under that staff. Look at what they did with Desmond Reed. I like Raymond too, as I think I was back and forth with Froton this weekend, on the flag plant there, holding it down for the Raymond Truthers this weekend on Ground Zero in Austin. So, Jared, give me like 10 seconds. As I told you, got the food delivery here. Is it okay? Can I just go pick that up?
Yeah, go ahead, man. I'll hold it down here. In fact, while Justin's doing that, maybe I'll look for a question to answer in the draft or in the chat here. Tatum, it says, hey, my draft is this Friday. I had a question for my first 2 picks of the draft. I'm targeting Cam Cook, Jaden Ball, Isaac Brown, and LJ Martin. The no PPR league. Please rank the players 1 through 4. So, all right, I can go ahead and pull up my rankings here. So you said LJ Martin. Let's see, 0 standard league. So you said Ba, LJ Martin. So I've got Ba over Martin. Who else did you have? Isaac Brown and Cam Cook. So Cam Cook's going to project really well for me just because of the system he's in. But even with the confidence discount, he probably still has the highest upside among those options. But I think if you want to play it safe, Ba, I think is your best option there still. With Isaac Brown again having the upside of just being a super efficient guy. But if you want just a safe floor, I think Ba is your best option among those options. Justin, we had a question here. He's targeting Cam Cook, Jaden Ba, Isaac Brown, and LJ Martin in a no PPR league. He asked us to rank the players 1 through 4. I said in a no PPR league, probably Ba, then Brown, then Cook, then LJ Martin. What are your thoughts?
Okay, so we got Jaden Ba, Cam Cook, LJ Martin, and Isaac Brown.
Yes.
Right? So 4. No PPR.
No PPR.
Yeah, that's kind of difficult. I mean, yeah, because LJ does get a lot of receiving usage. That was a big part of his profile. With him, though, he has like an injury concern. So of that group, that's an immediate flag. Isaac Brown has the same kind of injury issue. So those two, I think for sure, I'd rank sort of 3 and 4 in some order. And then between Jaden Ba, Cam Cook has like the uncertainty of just, we don't even know like if he can play at the P4 level yet. We're assuming, but we don't know. Whereas Jaden Ba, it's like, okay, well, same program. We know he's good at this level. And new sort of turnover on staff. But, I think you look at John Summerall's history there. He's had a good track record at running back. Hopefully, the OC doesn't mess it up, Buster Faulkner.
Oh, no, Rand. Rand, you drafted the wrong Darius Taylor there, bud.
Oh, is there 2?
There's 2 apparently in Yahoo. Oh, no. So Rand drafted Darius Taylor from Virginia Tech. So Rand, if you're listening, buddy, if you want me to replace that pick, I can do my best to figure out how to do that. I'm on the clock though. I'm going to go ahead and take my first quarterback here. Actually, normally don't. I actually just realized this is the exact same start I had in the Kings Classic. For very different reasons though, in terms of like where I'm going with this. Obviously, Turner bumps up because of a full poor PPR here, but Trinidad Chambliss in the Kings Classic I drafted because it was 6-point passing touchdowns, and I think with that he gets a nice boost there. But then 2 here with the Power 4 only format, this is different than a lot of the underdog drafts that I've been doing, right? Where everyone knows in those drafts you got to hit quarterback early. I don't know if this draft group has really kind of figured out, especially once we go 30 rounds deep. Quarterback's going to dry up real quick. This is not quite the full FBS drafts where you have 130 something quarterbacks to play around with and you only need 6 of them.
Yeah.
A decent chance that people are left scrambling by the end of this draft looking for quarterbacks because you have 68 quarterbacks. That means every team can get 5 to 6 starting quarterbacks in the league, let alone then having to draft backup quarterbacks. And that means you're going to be having to draft guys like Dylan Lonergan at some point during this draft if you want more than 4 or 5 quarterbacks. So let's see any more questions in the chat. Frogfan says, I got a 20-team 30-round best ball dynasty tonight in pick 17. Do you recommend doubling down on running back? I'm hoping for Ja'Kurian Turner and Austin Dendy. So again, this time it is a full point PPR league. So I've already made my case for Ja'Kurian Turner. So I do think if you can somehow get Ja'Kurian Turner at pick 17 in a dynasty draft, that's pretty incredible because he's only a true sophomore, so you'll have him for a couple of years. Honestly, Frog fan, I'll be surprised if he makes it to you at 17. But again, dynasty drafts are the Wild West of CFF, so God knows what we're expecting there. But then Austin Dendy is one that I think you got to be a bit more careful in a full PPR league. He had no receiving work last year. To a pretty crazy degree. They gave him a lot of volume, but it just almost none of it came from the air. And so I would say be careful with that pick. But I Justin, I'm sure you got your own thoughts, but nothing wrong with going 2 running backs to start in a dynasty league, especially a 20-teamer. Dear God.
Well, nothing wrong with it. I would say that's pretty fantastic. Certainly, there's nothing wrong with it. And when you're comparing like G5 versus P4 guys, I do tend to like default to the P4 guys because we just kind of have more information as well. Like I feel like I can actually assess their situation a little bit better and more accurately. Whereas these G5 guys, there's just so much more uncertainty, lack of information. It's much more opaque, their situations, and so it does just make it harder to assess like where do you want to rank them. So. Just another thing to keep in mind.
All right, let's see. More quarterbacks came off the board here. Connor Wigman and Mateer came off. You took Devin Dampier. I could go quarterback again here, but I do feel like Jordan Dwyer's still on the board. I'll go ahead and take him. That seems like a pretty solid start at my wide receiver room. Definitely a top 10 guy in my rankings.
You're not spooked by, I saw in the C2C chat, someone mentioned the plan at TCU this year might be to spread the ball around a little bit more.
I'm not. I mean,
not buying it.
I'm not that I'm not buying it, but it's like, yeah, maybe I don't get Eric McAllister last year, but if I get like 85 to 90% of it, I'm still totally fine with that.
Fair, yeah,
more than fine with that. So, all right, Rand, again, let me know who else you want, and again, I gotta figure out how to see settings. Can I?
Yeah, I was going to say, is that even supported?
It is.
It must be. But.
It should be. But again, like I'm scared that if I okay. Where is Darius Taylor? Sorry, y'all. I'm doing this on the fly. So okay. It wouldn't do all those picks. Ugh.
Oh yeah.
Oh god, I don't know how to fix that then.
I think you're just gonna have to take one for the team then.
I'm sorry, Brandon. I really don't know what else to do right now because, again, unfortunately, in Fantrax it's very easy. I just turn on commissioner mode and just replace the pick. Mm-hmm. Here, I don't want to undo a whole draft here. So
it's good user feedback for Yahoo, though.
Oh yeah,
functionality.
I would say if any of the Yahoo devs are listening, that would be something I would like to fix in the future because we don't want that. We don't want poor Rand here getting stuck with a pick like that, and unfortunately for right now we have to be because I cannot have this draft go back 3 rounds. So
and it's a common occurrence in college drafts where there's 2 players with the same name or someone doesn't know if someone's like out of eligibility, stuff like that. So it happens all the time, right?
For sure. Let's see. Any more questions in? All right, so Brandon's asking for Daejuan Williams. I'm going to request everyone that is listening also put it in the chat for our league that Daejuan Williams has been claimed. Do not draft him. We're gonna just try our best.
That's
Daejuan Williams is claimed. Do not draft. Otherwise, he will not count for your team. I'm going to send this, and he's going to be immediately picked, like, right now. I just bet. Okay, so it's coming back to me at the 5th round here. So I've got 1 wide receiver, 1 quarterback, 2 running backs. I probably do need to... Again, there's not the big run on quarterbacks quite yet here. Oh, well, as I say that, 2 more quarterbacks come off the board, so maybe I do need to take a little bit of a gander as to who... Oh, yeah, we're about to hit a cliff here, so I think I'm going to take 1 more quarterback. I got 2 in my queue here that I feel... it's not a cliff per se, but...
definitely a drop-off after this group.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me, Brandon. He said D. Williams into the chat, so I assumed Daejuan Williams is the running back, but he meant Damon Williams. Well, Damon Williams just came off the board.
Does he want to do a trade with Gundy?
I don't know, man.
I to do that?
I don't know. I don't know.
At this point, you just got to keep it rolling, probably.
Just got to keep it rolling. I'm sorry, Brandon. I really don't mean to do this to you, man. So, all right, I'm on the clock here. I'm deciding between 2 quarterbacks. Because I could go running back, but I really don't want to get stuck at quarterback here. And I feel like most of the running backs I'm kind of looking at here probably make it back to me. So I'll go quarterback here. It's just a matter of which one do I want to do. We'll go Marcel Reed. We'll go a guy that was a quarterback 6 for college fantasy and Power 4 formats last year. I know that a lot of people are kind of concerned that he won't be able to reach that again this year, especially with the way the Texas A&M's offense looked towards the end of the year. But it's still a dual threat quarterback in the SEC. There's going to be plenty of offensive shootouts in that league. More than fine to grab him there. So
yeah, and I think he trailed off towards the end of the season because the competition got better, right? Like they had an easier schedule last year. I don't know how different their schedule is this year, but I don't think there was really anything that was different with Reed and that offense. It was just they played harder teams. So.
Mm-hmm. Also, Felix said it best himself. Again, there's a lot of people watching right now, and we don't have as many likes compared to the number of people watching. So if you have not liked the video yet, please go ahead and do so. And then I forget if you can do it live or not, but if they have the little hype thing where there's like a little button that's like hype the stream or hype the video, if you do that, that also helps a lot in terms of getting this in front of people's eyes. And then another thing I figured out with these streams, keep the chats coming, y'all. I love the questions. I love the interactions and everything. It also helps the stream out a lot. It turns out these streams get boosted quite a bit when they have a ton of comments throughout the stream. So keep them coming all day long. Eric is commenting on my Marcel Reed pick. He said, I'd like Marcel Reed more if he didn't have that looping throwing motion. What do we always say in the C2C Slack, Justin? We don't need these players to be good. We just need them to score. I do not care that Marcel Reed's never going to be an NFL quarterback. That's fine. I just need to make sure that he can run for 700-800 yards on the ground throughout the regular season, and we're good to go from there.
Yeah, not C2C value isn't really too important at this moment in the redraft. So
again, it is something to look for, right? But I'd be more worried if maybe Marcel Reed had a quarterback behind him that was kind of breathing down his neck, right? Maybe if A&M brought in say A&M had held on to Houston Longstreet, right? And Houston Longstreet was breathing down his neck, but there really isn't a guy behind him to do that with. So I'm not as clock. You are on the clock, sir. So you took Jamal Roberts. That's a good running back 3 pick there.
I think it actually autoed, but it went from the top of my queue.
Oh, there you go.
I was so locked in with what you were saying, I didn't even realize. Okay. Let me take a look here.
Speaking of locked in, I'm distracted by the animated Batman going on behind you there.
Is that it's not in the stream though, I don't think. It's just like in my personal camera.
It is. I can see it though, and I'm entertained.
Okay, well I'm glad I could keep you entertained here while I'm eating, so I just have to have a couple of things going on at the same time.
What is the food of choice tonight?
Oh, it's just some pasta. I actually had a dinner like an hour and a half ago, but I was still really hungry. And I was just like, oh shit, like I have a stream that I gotta do. Like let me get something. It was supposed to arrive, as I was telling you pre-show, like 10 minutes before our stream, but ended up getting delayed. Logistical challenge now, trying to eat and draft at the same time. It's a problem of my own making, though.
All right, I am about to come up on the clock here. I have a pretty good idea of who I'm going to go here. Actually, the other quarterback I was considering made it back to me, so I might just load up on that and then see if I can get lucky at another position that I'm also looking at. Because again, like quarterback can fall off the cliff at any point here. So, and I was just looking at Evans as a potential guy to maybe grab in the next round, but that's not going to happen. Actually, I should look. Let's see results. Look at my team here. What's my buy situation looking like? Okay, good to know. Need to keep that in mind. I just know quarterback's going to drop off at one point. I think I'm going to go ahead and just take Avery Johnson here as well. Just load up on Chambliss, Reed, and Johnson as my quarterback room, and just.
You got 3 already. Wow.
I just want a quarterback heavy build here because again, I do not want to be stuck in the second half of this draft, scrounging for quarterbacks, looking at Billy Edwards at North Carolina or like.
What you got against my man Billy?
It wasn't very good.
Yeah. Oh, that's fair.
But whatchamacallit? Again, I normally wouldn't go this quarterback heavy in a draft like this, but again, I've done enough underdog best balls that a 30-round draft like this is going to be rough after a certain point. Lenora Sellers, Kevin Jennings, right? Like they quarterback. Like I think at some point people are going to realize just how quickly this dries up. Let's answer a couple questions from the chat here. Although Joe's saying you said a naughty word, Justin, so naughty you. No more naughty words from you tonight.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. I'm unfiltered. So I just got back from Austin. There's Froton's bad influence on me. Shout out Froton, by the way. Thanks. Great weekend in Austin. Great weekend. Great draft with those guys.
Dude, shout out for Photon for getting us a whole new platform here with Yahoo. Like again, truly the MVP of this offseason. Really the last 2 off seasons Photon's been, because he got the Tadpole Bowl up and running, and then now this year we can really thank him for pushing college fantasy at Yahoo. So
yeah, he's the man. Shout out Photon.
So let's answer a couple questions here. Corey Cavender, this is a fun one for you, Justin. We're talking running backs here. Who will be the RB1 at Syracuse? Possible volume pig or piglet at least? Feels like that offense is getting slept on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's anybody's guess, I feel like, at this moment. I mean, Ahmad Miller was an FCS transfer from Jackson State. He had 1,000 yards last year. He's kind of interesting. I know your guy, Chris B, likes Ahmad Miller. I think I traded that player to him in Nate's Dynasty League a couple weeks ago, so I know he's in on him. There's also Tyreek Hill, another guy who's interesting there. I think they've got the LSU transfer, Juwan Johnson, who's been like playing different positions. I mean, he's probably the best athlete of the 3, if I had to guess. It's a total mess, though. Like, I'm really not like drafting that room or like going out of my way to draft that room. At the end of maybe even this draft, I might take a look and just take a couple of dart throws, but I don't think anybody can say definitively at this moment. So just take a couple of dart throws and see. But I don't know. I'm not really that optimistic about the room this year.
I had a dynasty draft that I just finished up, and it was one of those leagues where I had a ton of roster spots to fill, and it was draft to fill. And literally with the last couple of picks of mine, I took one Ahmad Miller and I took Juwan Johnson. I'm just like, all right, we'll see. Let's just see what happens between these 2. All right, I'm on the clock here, and I got the running back I wanted to follow me. I'll go Cameron Dickey here as my 3rd running back.
Interesting. So you're in on Dickey this year.
I wasn't, and now I am, because like we are missing a big piece of what I thought was going to steal carries and touches in that backfield with Brennan Sorsby. I don't care how athletic Will Hammond was in the past, he's coming off of an ACL tear. Historically, if you look at what quarterbacks have done the year after their ACL tears, no matter how athletic they were, they take a massive drop back in that rushing production the first year they come back. Usually it's the second year where they're able to kind of put some more things together. And so I'm not worried about Hammond really taking a ton of those carries or anything. Dickey, I think, is now the favorite in terms of like getting the most shares out of that room. I love Joyner. I'm sure he's going to be heavily involved. But we also have the news now with Jacoby Williams getting a lot of work in the slot, and that tells me that they're going to almost kind of take him out of that running back rotation. Not fully, obviously. They'll still put him back there. But they're going to use him a bit more as like a gadget guy rather than a full part of that rotation. If we can get that rotation mostly down to just Dickey and Joyner, I think then we get a lot of what we had last year, especially with Hammond not being a play in that backfield as well. So,
literally, Buckmeyer coming off the board right before my pick. That's who I wanted to draft there.
Oh, yeah, right. You've only got the one quarterback.
Jared. I was just about to say, I'm looking at the QBs. I'm like, wow, yeah, no, you're right. Well, I don't know if I'm going to draft a QB then here. Oh, maybe here. Calandria.
Oh, that answers one of our questions in the chat. Felix asked, speaking of late round quarterbacks, not a late round quarterback here. This is we're in the 7th round, so he's definitely not a late round here. I guess that speaks to your faith in Anthony Calandria this year, because Felix asked, what's your faith in him on a scale of 1 to 10? How do you answer that, Justin?
Well, it's probably like a 3 or 4 at best, but it's it's like it's not really the quarterback I wanted to draft there. It's just, hey, as to your point, Jared, it's dried up pretty quickly here. We have to start 2 in this league, so he won't be obviously the last QB I drafted, but just wanted to sort of start stocking up at that position and get a couple of guys that I feel good about before it goes completely off the cliff.
Okay, apparently people got the word that you were on tonight because everybody came loaded with running back questions here, Justin.
Well, you're to see it.
You're about to be on the clock, so let's let you make your pick here.
Or I can multitask. It's all good.
We got another question from Tatum. He said he has the 18th and 19th picks, 2 in his league. He's looking at Lucky Sutton, Will Henderson, Ja'Karian Turner, Austin Denny, and Nate Shepard. No PPR. So my personal thought is load up on some volume picks like Lucky Sutton and Nate Shepard, where you don't have to worry about the receiving work as well, and just ride on those guys getting 18 to 20 carries a game and just don't really look back. What about you? What are your thoughts, Justin? I can read off the names again if you want.
Yeah, well, you said Shepard, Sutton, and who else?
Shepard, Sutton, Henderson, Turner, and Dendy.
Henderson and Dendy. Well, I mean, Shepard, to the point you were mentioning, he actually got some pretty good receiving volume last year as well. So I wouldn't say he's just like a Russian guy. Certainly Sutton is like in a non-PPR more valuable. Probably, I mean, you can't really go wrong, I think, with that group. I like Sutton. I like Shepard as well. As I was mentioning earlier, I mean, with Dendy in particular as well, not just like the G5 guys, but within the MAC, I feel like that conference is just so chaotic. It's the conference is like the king of just the late scratch or players just, coming off a big year and then being inexplicably like missing the next season, or just like different workload, different, just all kinds of stuff that might switch year over year, and we have no info on it. So I do sort of give preference to some of the other conferences. Certainly the P4 guys, it's easier to make an assessment on those guys. We just have more information. So.
For sure. All right, I'll talk about my last pick here. I took Dylan Wade. To me, that's the last of the top tight ends because Vanami came off right beforehand, and that triggered me to just go ahead and take my last guy of my top 5 tight ends here. Justin, you, I don't believe, have taken a tight end so far. You have not.
No.
So what's the plan now? Are you just going to wait forever on tight end, or you got a couple guys you're still looking at? What are you looking at the position?
Yeah, well, I just pulled up the queue. I mean, there's certainly some guys I still like that I could draft. I don't know. I mean, tight end's just one of those positions, and this is a league where we're drafting it and forgetting it, so there's no waivers. But in leagues where I have waivers, or where waivers are involved, I am generally quite happy to just like wait on tight end and not even really draft tight end in some instances, and just pick one up off the waiver like right before game start, because I find most of the time the tight ends I drafted are not the guys who stick on my roster after a couple weeks anyways. In this league, I don't know. I don't want to tip my hand too much. I'll certainly start looking at drafting a tight end at some point. I don't know if it'll be anytime soon, though.
No, for sure, for sure. I'm looking at all the positions right now. I see personally a lot of value at the wide receiver position. I think there's definitely some guys that are falling here. Maybe it's all my talk of like, hey, get your quarterbacks now before they start rolling out, and that's pushing the wide receivers down the board. But quite frankly, these guys are almost falling later in this Power 4 only draft compared to where they would be going in like a full FBS league.
Yeah.
Do you agree with what you're looking at?
100%. I was surprised that like Wildy, for example, was available just now in the 8th round. Some of these other guys like Amarion Miller or even Desmond Roebuck. Yeah, I mean, and Trey Richardson, like he got drafted in the 7th. I mean, that's where he gets drafted like normally in every all-encompassing drafts. So pretty good value at that spot. I think, to your point earlier, like everyone's trying to nab their QBs and running backs, and I think that's kind of happened in the first 6 rounds, and now people are branching out to the other positions.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to take a wide receiver here because I only got the one, and I feel like it'll dry up quicker than I want. So, let's see. I'll go ahead. I'll take the safe pick. I'll go Carlos Hernandez here out of Wake Forest. He's one of my boys. I'll draft him all day long, and then we'll see what falls back to me here in the next round. I'll probably take another wide receiver before that position doesn't dry up, but I feel like we'll hit a step down here relatively soon.
Yeah, wide receiver options, man, it just keeps going and going. I mean, even in the P4 only draft, there's still guys in the round 20 plus that I like. So
exactly. We got a question here from Chris. I don't know if it's one of our Chris's or just Chris in general. We have so many Chris's in this community.
Common name, yeah.
Another running back question. Justice Haynes, are we worried about Malachi Hosley going to take carries from him?
Yeah.
Personally, my stance is that Georgia Tech paid a lot of money for Justice Haynes to come there, and I don't think you pay a running back millions without, planning on giving him 200 plus carries. I think there's a decent chance where we see both of them get well above 100 carries because that offense just grounds and pounds this upcoming year, right? I mean, you got an unknown commodity at quarterback in Alberto Mendoza that Indiana wasn't really willing to turn the keys over to, so that tells me that maybe there's a bit of limitations there. And so you go out and pay for a running back like Justice Haynes, who probably should have gone to the draft after this year. Tells me they're going to use him quite a bit. And Hosley will be fine. I mean, he had 7 yards per carry last year. So he's not a running back that even really needs a ton of carries. They just need to play him strategically. And so, yes, will it stop Justice Haynes from getting to 300 carries? Probably, but I still think Justice Haynes will be fine. What about you, Justin?
Yeah, that's exactly. So I am sort of maybe skeptical about what his ceiling will be and whether he's going to be, sort of a top five running back because of that running back behind him, Malachi Mosley, stealing some carries. And that staff is just a complete question mark. We don't really know what they want to do. But to the point of the investment or the reported investment in the player and his decision as well to leave Michigan, I mean, it's hard to know exactly what guys are wanting when they're transferred, but it is sort of an odd decision on his part. So you got to think like, okay, he's not going there to be a backup. And then the question really is, what does the split look like? And yeah, I think there's a world where he sees 200, 230 carries and Hosley is somewhere between 100 and 150. And they are going to run the ball a lot this year. I think the staff have been pretty clear about that, certainly early on, just because, yeah, it's a new QB and they don't want to throw him to the Wolves right off the bat. So.
Mm-hmm. All right. Yep. As I figured, the value at wide receiver is quickly drying up because, Yamir Knight, who I swear to God, I've been trying to get a share of Yamir Knight in every draft I'm in. There's always somebody who loves him just a little bit more than me, man. Like it feels almost unfair. It's like every time I'm like, all right, this is the round I'm going to take him. That's when he goes off the board. And it could be whatever round I want. I could be drafting him like 7 rounds ahead of ADP, and it feels like somebody's always there to be like, nope, I want him. You're on the clock here, Justin. You took Michael Hawkins, which really kind of speaks to the level of quarterback we're already looking at here. If that's your quarterback 3, are you thinking about taking another quarterback here, or what position are you looking at here?
I'm looking at all of the positions, but I mean, there's not really a lot of players that stand out to me here. I'm at the point of drafting players I don't really like that much. I mean, Mike Matthews, we'll see how it goes this year. He's one of those 2 starting returning receivers at Tennessee, but I just wonder about the quarterback play. But as I mentioned earlier, I was in Austin this weekend, and Froton and some of the guys do like Mike Matthews a lot this year. I was just listening to them speak while I was drafting in the bar over there, and it just kind of by osmosis, I think, has permeated my brain now. And so now I'm drafting Mike Matthews, hoping some good stuff will happen.
All right, got another question here from Anderson Brookhart. I missed this one earlier, Anderson, so my apologies. And I'll throw it over to you, Justin, because my stance on this is pretty clear. But do we think Ship and Demon June are going to get the full volume of Petrino running back and wide receiver ones have gotten the last couple of years? I think there's a much better shot than we're giving them credit for, at least in terms of what we're seeing with their ADP. And quite frankly, I wouldn't be surprised if I take Demon June at some point during this draft. So, Justin, your thoughts? What do you think?
I think there's probably a better chance that that Ship sees sort of that full wide receiver 1 workload. I just think because if the team is bad, they will be passing the ball a lot. The wide receivers are sort of recession proof in that regard, in terms of if the team is not doing well, they can still do well. And even if the quarterback isn't that good, sometimes that can actually be a plus. Running back is a different story, whereas if the team is not effective, they simply, are game scripted away from wanting to or doing what they want to do if they want to give a lot of volume to their RBs. So he's one that I'm a little bit more worried about. I don't know what the situation is on the offensive line. That whole program is just a weird one. I mean, they're firing people. It's got stuff going on the sidelines, off the field. So yeah, I don't know if that's one I'm really that interested. I certainly like Ship a lot more than I like Demon June.
All right, I'm going to take Latsier Brooks here. This is a guy that I have not gotten a ton of shares of this year, but I think he's a really nice value here in the 10th round. And my third wide receiver here, where did Ryan Williams go? Ryan Williams, hold on. Let me pull up the full draft board. Ryan Williams went round 4. I got Latsier Brooks here in the 10th round. I'm going to be real. My projections are not that far apart on those two. I would love a bounce back season for Ryan Williams, but even a bounce back season for Ryan Williams this year, I don't think it's quite the ceiling that people are wanting to believe this year. What about you, Justin? How do you feel about it?
Yeah, same way. I mean, we still don't know who the starting quarterback is going to be and how effective they will be, and so it's a big question mark there in that offense. And Latsier Brooks, man, he was a freshman last year, looked really good. At times, sort of usurped Williams as their kind of wide receiver 1. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not the guy to be drafting Ryan Williams at his ADP right now. I'd much rather have Brooks later on. So.
For sure. Let's see what we got here. So Danny Scudero just came off in the 10th round here. Definitely one we're keeping an eye on right now, right, Justin? With the potential scoop of Instagram scoop, or what? How did Ethan phrase it? It was boots on the gram.
There you go.
Boots on the
Yeah.
gram. People pointing out that he looks like he's in crutches, which is obviously not a great sign. Not fully confirmed yet by anyone, but
This is
what
the
are your
type of
thoughts on that?
shenanigans. This is the type of shenanigans you get in the CFF space for all you NFL guys who might be watching tonight for the first time. This is the type of reporting and the kind of thing that you get in the college space that you simply just don't have to deal with on the NFL side. Because well, with Scudero, right? I mean, it's I can't remember exactly where he's getting drafted earlier, but certainly top 10 rounds and the P4 only draft now to make it back where he did. Yeah, I think everyone's pricing in that uncertainty there. So. I already wasn't one of the ones who was highest on him this offseason. I think there's others who still think he's gonna be the wide receiver one there at Colorado. I'm more so looking at some of the other guys on the boundary, and so it doesn't change too much for me. I know you also like Joseph Williams, Jared.
I do like Joseph Williams, and I'm expecting him to be healthy this fall, and I'm expecting him to do much better than his ADP would suggest. Another guy that I would not be shocked if I take him off the board at some point tonight, especially once we get into like round 20 plus.
Yeah, I regret mentioning him by name because surely now,
surely that man is gone. That man is so gone. All right, I'm looking at a certain player here. Once again, I'm going to try to take advantage of this position before it fully dries up, and I can try to get an advantage there. But we did get a question from Chris here as well. He said, are we bought in on Chip Kelly at Northwestern, with Will D and Como LaFay? I'm pretty in on Como LaFay and Will D. I think I actually have in my top 12 wide receivers for this upcoming year. Como LaFay, I think I have higher than ADP as well. I think I have him in my top 24 running backs. I'm very bought in. The systems look really, really nice. Again, we've seen Chip Kelly go absolutely bananas before. I also think people are kind of not buying, or putting too much stock into the disaster that was the Raiders offense last year. Don't get me wrong, like it wasn't a good look for Kelly by any stretch of the imagination, but let's be real. Look at Northwestern's like play calling history. Chip Kelly is still pretty clearly one of the best play callers that they've ever been able to sign for that team, and I think that it is something worth looking at. Now, I don't know if I'm more worried about Aiden Childs than anything else. But also, like last year, they were dealing with the walking husk that was Preston Stone at quarterback, and he was just fine for providing Griffin Wilde some pretty solid games. I think that Childs is good enough that we can kind of keep that going there. What about you, Justin? How do you feel about Northwestern's offense this year?
Well, yeah, so similar to you. I mean, I do really like Wildy this year. I think like every draft I'm in, I seem to have acquired him some way, somehow. So clearly I like Wildy. They do have a harder schedule this year compared to last I looked. So, that is something to keep in mind.
Playing from behind.
Exactly. So for wide receivers, that's not really a problem. For the running back, though, it could be. And that's one of the reasons why I think with Como, I've maybe ranked him a little lower than some others. Not much. Not by much, but he's one I'm a little bit more sort of hesitant on versus Wildy.
All right, you just took Ty Clark out of Wake Forest, and you're back on the clock here. So, Justin, once you make your second pick here, talk to us about this turn here.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not drafting players that I love here, but
I will point out real quick, Jared Richardson coming off in the 11th round there. The power of a single voice in the CFF community, man. Like, ever since Elliott mentioned the name Jared Richardson, this was a man that was going undrafted in most leagues, but Elliott mentioned him once on the Kings Classic stream, and I swear to God, he just shot up draft boards for everyone. Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong, Elliott's a very smart guy, and I looked at Richardson more after he put it out there. I don't think Elliott's willing to draft him this high. And quite frankly, like, there's not much we can really put into the stock of, like, Richardson's clearly that much above, Javen Nicholas, who comes in from Charlotte, right? And so, you took Joseph Williams, you absolute jerk. What the hell, man?
Yeah, well, I figured because I mentioned him earlier, and I was just like, well, why not? I do like the player, so I figured.
So the fire is coming in from inside the house here.
There you go. Yeah, no, I was just like, oh, I don't want to give everyone else another shot, given that we mentioned that name. So,
all right, I probably need to look at running back a bit more. Yeah, it's. Oh yeah. Geez, let's see results. See, I've got Oh wait, that's not my team. My team. Oh yeah, I've only got 3 running backs. I probably need to be a bit more aggressive there, and unfortunately things have kind of dropped off a cliff here a little bit on that front. So I'm going to go upside here. I did the same thing in the Kings Classic draft. I'm going to go Dylan Jones. I don't love the idea of taking a shot at a running back room this early, but if I have to go for one, it's going to be Lane Kiffin's RB1. And yes, obviously Caden Durham and, Harlan Berry are still there, but, Lane inherited those guys. He managed to keep them, but keep them from transferring out. But he brought in Dylan Jones, and that has been the player that has gotten the most buzz. And we've seen this time and time again in the past that we're too quick to dismiss, some of that kind of buzz where we're like, well, yeah, he's getting buzz, but the other guys are just fine. We did it with Keywan Lacey last year, right? There was buzz on Keywan Lacey last year, but we're like, oh, well, there's other guys in that room, right? They're probably going to go committee. Nope. Nope, Keywan Lacey was a top 5 running back for last year, so I'm going to take the shot on something similar happening here with Dylan Jones.
I think it's a good idea. I mean, as you might recall, I drafted him in our SEC only draft, caught some flack for it at the time, but I think, look, the drumbeat has been pretty steady, honestly, since April. I mean, it hasn't really changed. We're now in August, and I'm still reading the same things, and at some point you have to just be like, okay, maybe I just take this at face value.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Like I said, that's pretty much my exact thought process. Where I'm like, at some point, we just got to take it for what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, don't overcomplicate it. I feel like we overcomplicate things sometimes in CFF. Oh, so there's a run of tight ends going on now.
There is. We got, what was that? Benjamin Bromber and Patrick Overmeyer coming off the board there. I talk about in tomorrow's CTN episode, which again, apologies for everyone for getting that out a day late. I just had a crazy weekend and needed to take an extra day to record that. But I kind of put out my anti-Overmeyer case, which is basically boils down to, Koziel came up from Willie Rodriguez off the board that early. Dadgum. Oh wait, I'm about to be on the clock. I should probably stop talking. Let's see, running backs. Maybe I take another tight end. I feel like it's a little early for a second tight end.
Yeah, you already got one, eh?
Yeah, I already got one. I don't really need to. I feel like I'm good on quarterback. I have 4 quarterbacks. I feel like that I'm not at the point where I'm gonna have to start forcing myself to take some guys. Running back, boy, it's getting rough real quick.
It's bad.
I'm gonna take another shot at a running back group because that's what we got to do at this point. But I feel like people are being too harsh on this man. His ADP has dropped so far in a lot of drafts. I'm gonna go Jalen Lamar out of Washington. I know he was injured all of spring, but we just got the information from Jed Fish that all running backs are outside of Jordan Washington are expected to be healthy going into the spring here. And to me, that's really good news for Lamar because he was basically, we talked about in the spring. The beat reporters were basically saying that he was brought in to be the one. Now it probably isn't going to be Jonah Coleman level, right? But he was brought in to be the number one guy because otherwise they're dealing with Quade Carr, who that's a big question mark, and then you got Brian Bonner, who's solid as a true freshman, but not somebody you want to rely on year one.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people are buying into Carr because he was healthy during the spring, and so they're like, well, now he's got the momentum. But I wouldn't be shocked if Lamar recaptures that momentum here in the fall, and we see him shoot right back up boards. Do you have a thought on that, Justin?
No, not really. I appreciate you sort of breaking that one down. So I hadn't really been thinking about that UW running back room. I just sort of last I heard they were all injured, and then there was an update a few days ago that they're all back. I figure it'll be a committee. That's kind of my presumption there. But yeah, I mean Lamar is certainly a guy I should keep in mind. Maybe spend some more time thinking about. Okay, I'm back on the clock. I better grab a tight end here, otherwise there's going to be none left. So,
what are you looking at? What'd you grab? You grab Hosley. That's a great late tight end one pick in my opinion. Talk to us about him.
Yeah, I like him quite a bit. I mean, again, similar deal with Jay Rich in the sense of, we don't know what's going to happen at QB, but with tight end, it can also be a plus. If the QB isn't very good, safety blanket over the middle sometimes becomes a really, really nice read in the offense. And Hasley, man, if he continues what he was doing last year, again, I know it's a new QB, but really, really productive last year, second half of the season in particular. So I got sniped on him in the tadpole draft. I think it was Elliot, honestly, who did it to me. Shout out Elliot. And so this draft, I was like, let me make sure I get him.
I'm gonna do a little. Research on something. I want to make sure before I make this crazy pick, and I'm not gonna make it this round, but I will make it at some point in this draft, I think.
Oh, now I'm excited.
Participants. Let's see. Do we have any more questions in the chat? I haven't seen any questions. Frog fan. This is another running back question for you, Justin. So I'll throw it over to you while I do some research.
Lovely. I love all these running back questions.
Mekhi Hughes, Dylan Riley, or Austin Dendy, and I would assume is the same. Let's see. I think this is the full point PPR league.
Kai Hughes, Austin Dendy. Who is the third?
Mekhi Hughes, Austin Dendy, or Dylan Riley.
Oh, Dylan Riley. Man, I'm quite conflicted on that BSU running back room. I don't exactly know what to think quite yet because Cyrus Gaines is obviously still there. Somebody drafted Dylan Riley quite high in the Golden Pig draft. I think it was like round 4 or 5. Took me off guard. I don't know if that's close to his ADP currently. For me, I've been kind of avoiding that Boise room. If it's best ball scoring, though, that changes things a little bit because you have to anticipate when each one goes off.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, man. That room for me, like, I'd rather, I guess, just kind of take the second one if I'm going to take a shot because it's like, what's there really to discern between the two? Like, why one over the other, really, at this point? Maybe you can explain it to me, Jared, if you have a position on that one. And then the other two, Hughes and Dendy. Oh man, they both kind of have questions. So Hughes, like last we saw him, I mean, he's just riding the bench in Oregon. We don't even know if he can play like at this level still, but like at least he's under his old head coach who gave him a lot of carries at Tulane.
Mm-hmm.
Dendy, I liked him like earlier in the offseason, basically like when the playing field was even and we didn't have information on anybody. As like time goes on in the offseason and we continue to get like more info and intel on other programs, but like, a lot of these MAC guys, not much has really changed. It kind of, he kind of sort of drops a little bit. But, I do like, probably of that group, I'd probably take Dendy.
Okay, so
go ahead.
Frog fan does confirm that it is a best ball league.
Best ball? Yeah, I don't know. I guess that's still not enough. I think Dendy probably number one still for me, just of that group. The next one would be a little bit more difficult, but I don't know. Probably Hughes just because he seems to have a clearer path to the volume. But not that strongly. I don't feel that strongly about him over Riley. Riley, I don't know exactly what his workload is going to be.
Oh, so you made me mad. You took my boy Rashid out of Washington there. You just taking all my guys, Justin,
yeah, I did
tonight.
that specifically because I'm on your show. I just wanted to twist that knife a little bit more. So
that hurts.
Yeah.
It hurts.
Yeah, no, I like Rashid. I mean, hey, if he can be 75% of Denzel Boston and at this round, that'll be just fine.
Underrated pick, in my opinion, is Jordan Faison. My projections do not love Jordan Faison whatsoever, but we think Notre Dame's about to just go, guns blazing on that offense or on that schedule they got, right? Mm-hmm. Faison's pretty much the top wide receiver, right? There's pretty decent gap between him and the rest. I wouldn't be surprised if this just ends up being one of those things where the system doesn't normally call for it, but because he's been in Denbrock's system a couple years now, and you got a more mature quarterback in CJ Carr, he could take a big jump from what he had last year. Am I crazy for that, Justin? What do you think?
Yeah, well, I think I actually drafted him when we did our ACC or your ACC conference preview. So I'm also intrigued by him. I mean, he's, as you said, the leading returner. Not that like the bar was super high on that team from last year, but he is the leading returning receiver. So yeah, I mean, not a bad idea to take a shot there.
All right, more tight ends going off the board here. We got Hunter Andrews, Dorian Thomas. Is Mason Minnie still on the board? He is. Y'all, stop it.
He's not going to be on the board much longer now, I'm sure.
No, but stop it. Stop taking Dorian Thomas over Mason Minnie. Justin, explain this to me. Why are people taking Dorian Thomas over Mason Minnie, a guy who had 40-something targets last year, as a clear tight end one for this Cal team, returns with the same quarterback? Right? Why do people just assume Dorian Thomas is going to overtake him? To me, the best case scenario for Dorian Thomas, which is actually worst case scenario because it kills both of their values, is that they're both out there on the field at the same time and they eat into each other's production. Like, I don't see a world where Dorian Thomas comes in and takes over as the clear tight end one for this Cal offense. Like,
Well, yeah, I wish I could explain it to you. I'm not one of these people drafting either. I don't think I've drafted either. And, I guess it's just sort of the new flashy object. I mean, Dorian Thomas had a great season last year, or a pretty good season for tight end standards. He's coming in as the transfer. I was talking to Felix about this on a separate sort of issue, talking about Adam Muhammad and sort of what he could do this year with that offensive line. And I was saying I was concerned about Cal's offensive line given what we saw last year. And he was saying, that's probably why they brought in the second tight end. They're probably going to do two tight end sets, have the extra blockers in there, and that'll potentially help out. Maybe that's what the vision is. Which in which case probably is not great from a CFF perspective for both tight ends.
No.
We'll see what happens there.
All right, I'm gonna go with hype here. I'll go Brian Rowe out of UCLA.
Oh, okay. So now we're just trading blows. Yeah, I was literally top of my queue. I was going to draft him when he came back around.
I got a question here for wide receivers with a few years of eligibility left that are relatively unknown. Let me go check my dynasty rankings to see if there's anyone there that really fits that category. I will say one that kind of comes to mind is he's not super unknown, at least not in like C2C circles, but Jeremiah McClellan out of Oregon's interesting. He's got 3 years of eligibility left, and DeCorey Moore may leave after 2 years, and or Evan Stewart's certainly gone after this year. There's a world where McClellan's like wide receiver 2 on that team. It could end up being pretty fruitful. Jeremy Scott at TCU is what I'm keeping an eye on. He's not healthy at the moment, but if he can kind of get into that second tier at TCU, I believe he's set to play behind Jordan Dwyer this year. So if he can take that spot behind them, and then after this year where Jordan Dwyer's gone, if he can take over that role, that'll be interesting because he's got 3 years of eligibility. Jalen Cooper at SMU is a guy I got my eye on. I don't know if he'll have a big role this year, but I think he'll at least potentially start. And then other underrated guys, Ed Small at TCU is another one I've been looking at. Multiple years of eligibility. Again, a lot of the fresh from this year I'll have my eye on. Koger at Auburn, again, not super unknown, but he's another one I got my eye on because I actually think he's got a higher upside than Keyshawn Singleton if he can kind of translate better into the SEC level competition. So those are my.
Interesting.
Chris has a comment here, says 2 Buckeye wide receivers coming into Notre Dame at wide receiver. I think they are being slept on. He's obviously referring to Mylan Graham and Quincy Porter. I don't know. It's not gospel, but the year 1-0 theory developed by Campus to Canton has not really done a lot to steer me wrong. Even in CFF, it's made for NFL production, but honestly, if you look at it, there's quite a bit that you can take away from it in terms of like CFF production going forward as well, and it saves you a lot of heartache with certain guys. Now you get lucky every once in a while, depending on where guys transfer, but I don't know. To me, with how shallow Ohio State's wide receiver room, I just realized I'm on the clock. We'll go Pendergrass. With how relatively thin Ohio State's wide receiver room's been the last couple of years. I mean, you got Brandon Innes starting for you. The fact that Mylan Graham and Quincy Porter couldn't really carve out a role or get into that rotation, I think says quite a bit. They go to Notre Dame, which obviously has a need at wide receiver outside of like Faison and stuff like that. I don't know. I'm not fully bought into it. Justin, what about you? Do you like any of the wide receivers that transferred Notre Dame this year from Ohio State? Or either of them, I should say.
Yeah, no, I get where the question is coming from, both like highly touted guys behind, really good players at OSU. So yeah, there's probably a lot of potential there, but just in terms of like what we know and the information we have and where guys stack up on draft boards right now in the summertime, it's hard to justify picking either of those two, certainly over Faison and over some of the other players on other teams that you can select other than in really deep drafts. Those two for sure, though, I'd keep an eye on just for early weeks for waivers. If they happen that one of them happens to have a really good game week 1 or week 2, certainly keep an eye out there. But not guys that I think are getting drafted in most drafts, and I think it's just big uncertainty with both of those guys. We haven't seen really much from either of them. So,
All right, looking at the board here, I noticed there's not a lot of in the last couple of rounds. There's not a lot of blue on that board. I think people are realizing we're kind of starting to hit the wall at quarterback. So, Justin, how many quarterbacks do you have so far?
oh my God, good question. I think I have 3 or 2. Yeah, 3.
I have 4. I think I'm going to take my 5th one here. Because
the anticipation is killing me now. I'm wondering who that is because I'm looking at this board of quarterbacks and I'm like,
there's a lot of question marks at quarterback right now. I'll fully admit, but again, to me, like, you can take a dual threat quarterback, or my strategy in like the underdog best balls. Oh, I'm on the clock. I'll go ahead and take them. I'm taking Gio Lopez from Wake Forest. My strategy with like underdog best balls is if I miss out on quarterback early on, the strategy becomes very simple. Dual threat quarterbacks in the Big 12, in the ACC, doesn't matter how bad their team is. They're going to have spike weeks because it's just the conference that they play in, and that's just what I'm going to be loading up with. Like not from here on out, because I really should only take maybe one more quarterback, and that's pushing it, honestly. Even in a 30-round draft like this, like I only need to start 2 quarterbacks each week, so...
It's a good thought process. We've seen in those 2 conferences in particular a lot of shootouts over the years, so it's a good way of going about it, throwing darts at the board.
And speaking of certain positions drying up, tight end getting a little messy here pretty quickly, not gonna lie.
Yeah, it started a few rounds ago, like round 13, there was a run, and yeah, now all of a sudden the queue is completely wiped out.
It is actually kind of crazy. There's more magenta on the screen right now than there is quarterbacks.
Yeah. Well, it just kind of shows, right? Like the QB position really falls off a cliff. I don't love this player, but since we've been mentioning QB and potential dual threat player in the ACC, we'll see.
Go.
Yeah,
he's what, your quarterback 4?
Quarterback 4.
That's not a bad shot to take. The quarterback
in a P4 only draft, I think so. Yeah, I think certainly could do worse.
All right, well, we're finishing up the 17th round here, so we're over halfway through the draft. Things are going to get very interesting here in the last 13 rounds. We're already kind of struggling with all the positions, and we're barely over halfway through. Keep the questions coming. Keep the chat rolling, y'all. Again, you guys have been awesome tonight. If you see picks that you're interested in and you want us to explain a little bit more, whether it's our picks or somebody else's picks, we're more than happy to talk about it. If you got questions in general, one thing we should talk about, and Felix asked this question earlier, and I kept meaning to come back to it, and I do want to talk about it, especially now that we're, an hour into the stream here, hour and a half into the stream here. Mm-hmm. Oh, Lord. Oh, my God. That's going to be a big file. I just realized I never stopped recording from my CTN episode earlier.
Oh, when did you shoot that?
So that's about a 2 hour and 15-minute video right there. Oops. Anyway,
yeah.
I'll figure that out later. But yeah, Felix asked, we're about an hour and a half into the stream now, so I figured now's a good time to ask this now that we're buried deep into this. What are our thoughts on the Yahoo platform here, Justin? Like, obviously, both of our first time drafting on this platform. It looks nice. Again, I managed to get it to dark mode. That was a big win. I know you were complaining about that earlier in the chat.
Yeah, well, I was looking at it late last night after I came home after my plane ride back from Austin, and I was just like, flashlight in my face, and I was like, oh my God, like, where's dark mode? This is so fundamental. Every platform needs this as default. So.
It's a generational thing, man. I talked to like some of the people at my coworkers and stuff like that. They're all in light mode, and I'm just like, why do you guys like?
They're burning through their retinas. Like, do they all have glasses? Go figure. Probably. I
mean, I have glasses, so like I'm already there.
But it's already there. But yeah, some of us are trying to avoid that, and yeah, not burn through the retina looking at the screen.
But like, I don't know, like, to me, it's just so much easier to look at. And like, I do engineering, for those that don't know, in my job, and so like I'm looking at plans like all day long, and there's an option in the PDF reader that we have that switches that inverts everything. So it'll be like a black background. I'm looking at white lines, and it's just so much easier for me to look at. I don't get how older people do it. Like just constantly looking at, and like whenever my boss comes over, he asks me to turn it on to light mode so he can see it better. And I'm just like, what do you mean see it better?
Yeah, generational thing for sure. Dark mode aside, yeah, I'm enjoying this draft. Certainly, it's an adjustment, right? Because we're all used to Fantrax and that UI. So when you're like already familiar with something and then you go into something unfamiliar, there's a bit of an adjustment period where it's just annoying to try to have to figure all this stuff out. That's like fundamental, you don't even have to think about when you're drafting on Fantrax. But that's a small little thing. As as you go through and do more drafts, then it'll be a smooth process. Certainly, it's very colorful, just like Fantrax.
Oh yeah.
Figured out how to actually draft players. It was, yeah, as you're saying, Jared, nothing to it. Once you're on the board, there's a big button that appears. I think the one thing, and it came up earlier, is having the feature to undo a pick, right?
Yeah, or making it easier to do so, right? Like we didn't realize what was wrong until we were 2 rounds later, and that just very quickly turned into like, well, we can't jump back 2 rounds. And maybe there is a way to do it, but it wasn't very intuitive that I could just figure it out on the fly here, which again, maybe I do a little bit more digging. One thing that I certainly like about Fantrax is that you can have both the draft board and like your player board and stuff like that on the same screen at the same time. Versus here, they have like tabs where you like jump back and forth between the two. And it wasn't until I found presentation mode that I legitimately didn't know how I was going to do the stream tonight, because I couldn't figure out a way to show the draft board without also showing like my queue. And for those that done this long enough, I don't really like showing my queue on this because, again, you guys are little piranhas and you like sniping me every chance you get.
I was about to say, what, no problem. What's the problem there, Jeff?
But like I found presentation mode, which basically allowed me to put the draft board in a different tab, and I can just stream that. And then on a different tab, I have my rankings here. That's fine and dandy. But for a while, I didn't know that I was going to do that because I was trying to log into the draft from 2 different tabs. And like when I would do that, I would get logged out of the other one. And so I'm like, well, I legitimately don't know what I'm going to do here. But eventually I figured it out.
Another comment too, by the way, sorry to cut you off, but this is very important. When I click on the players, it just, like on Fantrax, I love that when you can open up a player's history, you can go through their season stats, game log, all that jazz. I don't know, maybe the feature's already here, but when I click on players in the Yahoo pool, right, like it just pulls up this one window. I see the season stats projected total from last season.
Yeah.
It doesn't even show the season prior to last season for the guy. I thought maybe some of the guys I was pulling up were just like, were they freshmen last year? But like Fluff Buffalo, I know he played in 2024. I can't see, unless I'm missing it. But like there's a lot of information that you're lacking there in terms of like trying to pull up the player's history. Again, for like first time players trying to make decisions, don't know a lot of these guys off the top of your head. You're not going to know like what they did a couple of years ago. So it'd be nice to have that information. No,
I definitely agree. I didn't even think about that looking at it. Also, very minor nitpick here, but like when it is your turn to draft, your Q button gets turned into the draft button. And so like I multiple times tonight I've like when it's my turn, I'm like, okay, let me just add him to the queue for the next turn before I make this pick, and then I legitimately just can't. Again, very minor thing. And another minor thing is the drop down menu to switch between the different positions. I just prefer the button format that Fantrax has, where I could just quickly click through them, versus like this is like drop down, click, drop down, click, drop down, click. Again, it's very minor, but it gets a little annoying sometimes. I'm on the clock. Let's see. I think I'm just going to shore up my running back room a little bit, because we're kind of at that point where backup options are not a bad idea in terms of the pick at running back, just to kind of shore it up, especially since we don't have the ability to pick up guys later in the season. So I'll grab Quentin Joyner here. Just grab both Cam Dickey and Quentin Joyner. Is Williams still on the board? Maybe I just no, he has already been taken. He was drafted by, I can't tell who that might be Flores? Oh no, he was drafted by Andrew. Chris, all right, this is an easy question for you, Justin, considering your entire strategy. What's your favorite draft strategy that seemed to have worked best over the years?
Oh, yeah. Well, obviously 0 running back. QB, wide receiver, tight end. You don't need to draft those running backs until No, I mean, look, everybody has different sort of ways about it. And the nice thing about CFF is there's multiple strategies. I am on the clock too, aren't I?
You are.
Um, yeah, so I mean, I like drafting running backs early. It seems to have become even more popular of a strategy within the wider community over the past several years. Now, part of that's just, the way the player pool is shaken out. I think 2 years ago, there was a lot of returning running backs, and most of the draft boards looked how they looked this offseason. Last year, as it happens, there was a lot of turnover at running backs. It was a little different. And then this year, again, we have a lot of returning running backs. So I don't know, if it's been different in your experience, Jared, but pretty much every draft that I've been in, those first 3 rounds, there's 3 to 5 rounds, it's a lot of running backs.
Yes.
And then after that, things kind of disperse a little bit. So, it used to be the case 4 or 5 years ago where I was the only one up there doing triple tap, quadruple tap. But you see it a lot now, actually. And I'm giving credit to myself, of course, being the one to break the barrier there. There's no shame in it. If you want to do 3, 4 running backs right off the bat, go for it. There's no rule that says you can't do it, and it'll be all right. Like you'll figure it out at quarterback and wide receiver, especially in leagues that have waivers. Like I said, I was in Austin this weekend. I was doing like a running back heavy draft, and I think it was like Will Stone. It was made a comment to me. He's like, "I'm curious to see what your wide receiver room will look like." And I was like, I'll figure it out." Like every league I've ever been in, I've never been like unhappy with my wide receiver room. I'm not worried about that, especially in leagues with waivers. And in particular, I mean, if there are waivers in your league, so many of the best wide receivers are not being drafted every season. We see this every year. So
For
there are
sure.
going to be really, really good options. Many of the best wide receiver options that are going to be there for that season are going to be available week 1, week 2. So if you don't love your wide receiver room or tight end room, even coming out of the draft, fear not. It'll be all right. You'll pick up some good ones on waivers. Running back's a little different though. There'll be some good ones, but it's going to be fewer and far between coming off the waivers later in the season. Okay, I'm back on the clock.
You're back on the clock. I'll just talk through my strategy real quick. It is similar to Justin's, right? I go running back heavy more often than not. But it's also because of what I know I'm good at, right? And this is how you should draft. If you notice over the years that your late round picks at a certain position tend to work out, play into that. I'm pretty decent at identifying late round wide receiver value. I've noticed it over the years, and I'm okay. That makes me more okay with being like, okay, I'm punting wide receiver a little bit. Like Justin said, I'll figure it out. I'll find some guys later on that should be pretty all right. Running back, the take that I have, I think, is that the skill isn't anymore knowing to draft multiple running backs early on. I think the skill is identifying the where the cliff is, right? Knowing when to move away from the running back heavy spot. Because what I notice every year is with more people drafting running backs early, there's a lot of running backs that get moved into that third, like the 3, 4, 5 round range that probably shouldn't be being drafted that high, but because everyone's afraid of being left out of the position, they get moved up.
Yeah.
Being able to identify when the drop has hit at running back, and then being able to pivot to other positions like quarterback, like wide receiver, like tight end, depending on who's available, right? I think that's now going to be the skill going forward, because everyone's just got in their head like, I got to get running backs early.
Yeah. Well, two quick comments too, just to add on to that. As a community, we are much better at drafting running backs as well when you look at historical hit rate.
Yep.
Compared to wide receivers. So that's another really important thing in terms of like, are you
I will say, last couple of years,
think you're drafting?
Last couple of years, we just had really bad injury luck at wide receiver, man. Like it's been rough.
But even probably beyond those first few years, I think it's just because it's a position that's easier to predict. There's, if there's a guy out there who's the one starter, then he's usually the guy who's going to get the ball. Whereas wide receiver, it's just there's more variance when it comes to that position. So I think with running back, you just have that hit rate that's a little easier to capture. And then the other thing is, and you kind of alluded to it there, I think the foundation of the running back early draft really hinges on, actually, ironically, your ability to identify good wide receivers late. Like for me, I actually feel much more confident that I can just find good wide receivers throughout the draft. And that sort of enables me to kind of just go haywire there on running back early. Because I'm not really worried about finding value at sort of the other positions, wide receiver in particular, later. Whereas at running back, I just don't really want to be in that position, nor do I really trust myself. But that'll vary. Like some drafters, like Mitch, Ace Holes on Twitter, he's in the Golden Pig, my home league. I have to tip my hat to him. Like he's one of those drafters who's actually quite good at finding running backs late, and so he sort of does it as the inverse. He always, generally speaking, takes wide receivers early, because that's kind of his strength. But I think generally speaking, you probably, if you're a newer player, want to lean heavier running back early because the hit rate's going to be higher.
For sure. All right. Frog Fan asks, any thoughts on Jakari Lewis at App State? Obviously, it was a bit of a curveball thrown at us with Jacquez Cross being added to that running back room late, and then Phil Steele going balls to the wall and saying, yeah, he's going to be the starter. Yeah, Justin, what are your thoughts, man? Do you believe that for a second, or what are you thinking?
Well, I'm never gonna like just completely dismiss somebody, especially not Phil Steele, but it would be a bit of a head scratcher there for Jakari Lewis to return coming off the year he had to not be the starter. Now we've seen crazy things happen in CFF, so never say never, but I would be surprised. I'm still drafting Jakari Lewis as if he's the RB1 there. I think I took him in like the 5th or 6th round a few weeks ago in the Golden Pig, my home league draft, which is best ball score on granted. But still, I think that reflects my confidence and where he stands. And he was a true freshman last year. We have to keep that in mind. He looked very, very impressive. And surprised too when I looked at his game log. I mean, he had a lot of receiving work too throughout the year and certainly towards the end. So he's a guy even in PPR formats that I like a lot. And I'm still drafting him like he's the starter there. If it turns out Cross is the guy, then hey, then so be it. And we'll eat the loss on that one.
Yeah, Carp, I see you complaining in the chat there. You cannot draft on your phone and on your computer at the same time. I don't know why Yahoo has it set up like that, but you can only be drafting on one of them at a time. So if you want to draft on your phone, you gotta close the screen on your computer first.
Trying to prevent somebody helping you out there or something.
I don't know. I don't know why that. I guess again, I could do it on Fantrax, no problem.
Exactly.
I've never really thought of a way that it could potentially give me an advantage of some kind.
Yeah, just like two people queuing in on the same account. I don't even think that would help, to be honest.
It wouldn't. I don't know. It's a little weird that they don't let you have more than one thing open. All right. I'm going to take my third tight end here because I wanted Norfleet. He went off the board. That was a great pick by Not a Clue there. I'm going to take Luke Denicky, a favorite among our CFF team here. I like Wildy. Somebody else has got to catch balls over there, and he was very much a receiving option at his previous school. We'll see if just how much Chip Kelly's willing to use him, but we've had some pretty solid tight ends out of Chip Kelly over the years.
Yeah, I like that tight end. He was really productive last year. Was it Division II or FCS? So, oh yeah, I'm back on the clock. I was chatting with Felix quite a bit this past weekend. During the draft, we were like throwing the pigskin, and I was asking him about the Louisville wide receiver room. And of course, Richardson.
I hate you. I
expected to be the guy.
I literally. Yep. Oh
yeah,
wait,
Trayshawn.
Gotcha.
Yeah, is that not who you were thinking of?
No, not who I was thinking of.
Okay, well, there's another name that I asked Felix about there, and because I was kind of higher on him, and he basically sort of he said, yeah, that guy's probably just going to be more of a special teams player, and I believe Felix was at all of the spring practices for Louisville, so
okay,
I take him at his word on that one.
I would trust Felix more on Louisville than anybody else.
Well, exactly. So I'm not going to draft any other Louisville player here. I'm just going to leave it and see. And if you want to draft whoever this is,
you've made your point. You made your point. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, certainly on the turn there. If I had liked two wide receivers, I might have been tempted to just double tap there. But Felix swayed me. So, of course, if this player ends up being really good, I'm going to always remember this and never let Felix forget it because it's going to be a very costly mistake here.
Yeah, we'll definitely see. Speaking of wide receivers, I'm kind of loaded up my queue. We're pretty late in this draft. We're 22nd round now. There's still some potential wide receiver ones on the board here.
It's wide receiver, man. There's throughout the draft. There's value.
There's value, and it's not even like it's one thing if you're looking at it, it's like, oh yeah, they got a chance to be wide receiver one because we don't really know who's going to be the wide receiver one in a certain team, but. I feel pretty confident that, Blue Hicks is going to be the wide receiver one for Pitt.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'll just take that shot here later on. Caden Lee was a guy I took two rounds ago as well, where I'm just like, I feel pretty confident he'll be the wide receiver one. I do like Donovan Olugbade, but with that connection with
Austin Simmons.
with Austin Simmons, right? I feel pretty good about that. So
Yeah, I think he's one like earlier in the offseason. And certainly, I think there was a draft I was in where I took him much earlier than where you just selected him. I think earlier in the offseason, he was his ADP was much higher, and he's sort of fallen. There hasn't really been much new information though, so maybe people are just forgetting about him. I don't know what's really going on there.
I'm trying to count. Okay, another thing about oh yeah, okay. I found the grid that shows how many of each type of player people have drafted? Question mark.
Oh, the positions drafted grid. Is that what you're looking
Yeah,
at?
yeah, yeah. So all right, so I've got 5 quarterbacks, 7 wide receivers, 5 running backs, and 3 tight ends. So I probably need to draft some more running backs. It's been a while since I've taken a running back. Quentin Joyner's. Was Quentin Joyner really my 5th running back? No way. No way. If he was, that's not good drafting. No, I got like a ton of running back. What is this? What is this on? Maybe I'm reading this wrong. 1, 2, 3.
No, I see
4,
I see 5 for you.
6,
Yeah.
7. I have 7 running backs. Why does it say I have 5?
Well, again,
Well,
Yahoo guys, if
actually, you
you're
know what it is?
watching-
You know what it might be?
Mhm.
I think I have in my team.
Oh,
Yeah,
they're like the flex.
I have 2 of them in
Yeah.
the flex. That's probably what it is.
Okay, yeah. I was gonna say because
I
it's
was-
showing 5 for me. I was like, wait a minute. I thought I had like 5 in the first like 7 rounds.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I was
4.
confused as well.
Yeah.
I got a question from Frog Fan here. Frog Fan's getting all the questions tonight, man, because none of the rest of you are putting out questions. So Frog's gonna get all the questions answered tonight, y'all. South Florida wide receiver room, Justin. I know it's not Power 4, and we are like Power 4 only draft tonight.
Yeah,
but,
it's all good.
South Florida wide receiver room. Anyone in particular you're interested in drafting in?
Oh
Or
man,
drafting
yeah, that was one I was like I was targeting earlier in the offseason because I thought maybe Kenny Odom, certainly Moody or Rubin. Those were 2 guys I was interested in. Obviously, there's the Ohio State guy Bryson Rogers who comes over with what's his face Brian Hartline, head coach. But we haven't really seen much from Rogers. And then there's also Cameron Seldon. Anybody remember him? I think he
Yeah.
started off as a running back, moved to wide receiver at Virginia Tech. He started his
Mhm.
career at Tennessee. He's an intriguing cat, though. I mean, highly rated player and lots of athleticism. Maybe he has like an Emmanuel Henderson kind of glow up here in his 4th year. I believe it's his 4th season, something like that. He's an older player.
Yeah.
So they've got a packed room. I am interested in Michael Van Buren, their quarterback. I think like he could have a good season there. But again, we have so many questions on offense. Last I heard, or from what I've kind of been reading, I don't think Kenny Odom's a starter, or he hasn't been running with the starters. So I've kind of cooled on him. I do still like Moody or Rubin. I think like he could potentially be a pretty good player there. If I'm drafting from that room, he's the first one I'm drafting. But man, there's so much uncertainty. I don't want to draft any of their players until like really end of drafts at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Chris asks, "Are you going to continue with the Power 4 only content? Thanks for all the info." We are a show that does full FBS. How much Power 4 content we're going to be making will depend heavily on the success of Yahoo's platform. I will say I got something in the works I'm trying to get out either today or tomorrow that will be geared towards Power 4 only leagues. Am I on the clock yet? No, I'm not. I got 1 pick left. So in the future, we are going to try to create some more Power 4 only content, but it's not going to be like the main thing we do at any point. I'll be trying to keep you guys in mind a bit more, especially with Yahoo being now potentially the biggest platform that college fantasy is being played on. So Leave 616 just puts 3 pigs in the chat for you, Justin, I have to assume.
Oh, yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, no, I assume that one's for me and not for you, Jared, though. I don't know.
It could be for Elliot as well. He is
I
Bacon
was about to
Field.
say, yeah, exactly. I don't know if he's in the chat too. It could just be Bacon's burner. Who knows? But
That's true. That's true.
love to see a pig emoji.
I am going to take a 6 quarterback here again before because again, there's more starters left at this point than I thought there would be. But actually, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 starters left. So, I see. By the way, I see Soup has only 2 quarterbacks on his team.
Oh,
So Soup, I don't know if you're listening, buddy, but you gotta start drafting some quarterbacks, otherwise you're gonna be up a creek without a paddle, buddy. And
yeah.
I'm gonna start off that trend here because I'm gonna take KJ Jackson as my sixth quarterback here. Just take the shot
I
on
was wondering.
getting the right Arkansas quarterback there, a dual threat quarterback in the SEC. We've seen Ryan Silverfield's offense do pretty well. Obviously, at American level, we'll see if it translates to the SEC. But Leaf says, "Here's one for all of you," and he put 3 goats in the chat. So
Oh,
I'll take
appreciate
that.
Yeah.
So all right, let's see if now I'm on Soup Watch now. I'm
I was just gonna say,
I'm
you mentioned
curious.
it.
I'm curious to see what he does. Did not go quarterback this time. Went Ahmad Miller. Is he just
Okay.
gonna? What quarterbacks does he have? Now I'm curious. Let's see. Team. Let's go to Soup. He has Mason Heinschel and Nico Iamaleava. Soup.
You either know something we all don't, and
Or
he's gonna
you're
look.
that's a bold duo to ride on right there. That's a
I do.
bold.
I do like Nico a little bit this year in terms of like a bounce back. I do think he just has some great qualities, and he's an underrated runner. And with that staff, maybe some good things could happen. But yeah, relying on just him and Heischel, who has injury concerns throughout his history as well, is another thing to note.
All right, there goes there. So we're down to 9 quarterbacks, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep, 9 quarterbacks left, in my opinion, that are starters, and there's 8. Soup. So you took Aaron Philo,
Mhm.
quarterback throwing to potentially the best wide receiver room in the country. Justin, you think?
No, I wouldn't put Florida there, but that was a quick turnaround too. I'm right back on the clock.
All right, now we're down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 quarterbacks. Starting quarterbacks left. Soup. I'm praying for you, buddy. Anyway, Aaron Philo, wide receiver room, great.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, they have a bunch of some names there in the wide receiver room: Vernell Brown, Dallas Wilson, and Eric Singleton. I would not put them as the number one wide receiver room. Certainly, I think Texas's wide receiver rooms probably clears them. I don't know. There's probably a few other rooms that I'm just blanking on. LSU's got a great room as well. But Philo with Buster Faulkner there at OC. Did Soup not
He did.
take
He
take?
did not. I'm praying for this man at this point. I am going to take a running back here.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a running back that I am shocked this didn't make more news. Now, again, I'm not saying this is like a great system historically or anything like that. I do think it's notable that Iowa State brought a running back to media days. Right? They could have brought a lot of players. They could have brought, Jalen Raynor. They could have brought a wide receiver. They could have brought a tight end or something like that, or an offensive lineman. No, they brought their running back. Not a name I've really heard that much from, but Aiden Flores is the name. I've started drafting him at the very end of drafts in deeper leagues or like in dynasty because he's a young guy too. I believe he's only a sophomore this year. So, but yeah, I'm taking the shot there and just see what happens. And now we're down to 6 quarterbacks.
See, again, to my earlier comment, to if anybody from Yahoo is watching, right? So you mentioned Flora, you draft them, and I want to click on Flora's name and be like, okay, let's see what he was working with, and I try to click on him.
To be
on the
fair, I
board.
don't think there's much to look at.
Okay, but let's say that there was, but even that's information, right? Like the lack of production would be one thing. So, like, I want to click on the player who just got drafted and see, and as far as I can see, I cannot do that on their draft board right now. So, like for example, like I'm literally going on Fantrax now and just looking at Flores' game log from last year. And it's like, okay, well, I shouldn't have to do that right within the platform. You want to stay in the Yahoo platform. Presumably, that's what they want people to do.
And man, he's averaged almost 8 yards per carry. Never ignore the fact that he's only had 13 carries in 2 years. But
Yeah, it is easier on the lower workload. But like again, like that is information. I just want to see like what has he done.
Yeah.
And so this should be a quick click on the draft board.
not quite there yet. But again, it's a young platform. It'll get there.
Youngish, right? Like they were in the field, they were in the game earlier. Actually, the very first CFF league I ever played was a Yahoo draft. So, in some sense, these guys are kind of OGs, but certainly I'm sure like it's a new team, new staff that put this platform together. So,
I'm sure they're kind of taking what they already had on the NFL side and then just kind of reshaping it to be college as well.
Yeah,
But
fair enough.
I would like a treasurer of some kind in the near future as well.
Oh yeah.
All right, we're down to 5 starting quarterbacks remaining. I'm counting this down out loud because I'm curious to see if any of these guys actually make it to the very end.
Yeah, well, let me see. Like, who do we have left there?
I count 5. Oh no 6. I count. Yeah, I'm gonna put them all in my queue. That way I can really keep track of them. I've got 6 quarterbacks I see starters that are still available, and I'm talking about like clear starters, not like some people that are in a quarterback competition that maybe could end up starting kind of deal.
Right. Yeah.
Oh wait, 7, because I think he's pretty clearly the starter at Stanford. So yeah, I'm on quarterback watch now. I'm curious to see how this plays out.
Yeah. I mean, unless he just has a name that like we none of us have considered. But then again, like this is P4 only, so like we're aware of every single player. I can't think of like a sleeper that we haven't considered who's in a battle or something like that. So.
Oh, now I'm back down to 6 quarterbacks because there goes Ryan Brown out of Purdue. All right, now I also have to take care of my own team because good lord, I still got. Let's see, go to my results. Position. So I got my 6 quarterbacks. I've got 9 running backs. I've got 6 wide receivers and 3 tight ends. So loading up on wide receivers. That's all I got left.
Yeah, I have quite a few wide receivers, and sort of by well, I guess necessity, because there's just not a lot of great running backs, tight ends, and QBs at this point. So
yeah, I'm running low here, but I'll take a wide receiver I'm a little intrigued by. Obviously, Nick Harper is the one we're all drafting at South Carolina, but nepotism.
Sellers.
He's gonna start, and he'll be in the slot, and that's been a pretty okay spot for Kendall Browse in the past. So.
Was Dwyer his slot last year at TCU? I believe so.
No, Dwyer was outside last year, but a couple years ago was
Jack Besh.
No, Besh was Z. Oh my god.
Okay.
I'm blanking. Regardless, the wide receiver 2 will be pretty solid in that Kendall Browse offense, and I expect that to be sellers. Chris says I'm just here for the soup storyline at this point. Honestly, me too, man. I'm bought into this, and he didn't draft another. He passed it up again.
Still going.
Soup.
To his credit, nobody else is drafting QB. The last one was the 4th pick last round.
Well,
so.
he last time he passed up on it in the long term, he lost 3 quarterbacks. There's only 6 quarterbacks left.
Yeah, certainly a bold strategy. We'll see how it pays off for him.
Oh wait, nope. I found a few more. Okay. He's not quite as screwed as I thought, but if you're looking at the options, it's not great. FTS DevBuck says QB1 for Kansas this year. That is one of the quarterbacks that is still on the board for me, and I'm betting towards Cole Ballard. Cole Ballard's the name I've been hearing out of Kansas beat reports. I know some people are interested in Chase Jenkins there, but again, that's a G6 to Power 4 transfer there. I wasn't surprised when I heard that it was not guaranteed that he would get the job whatsoever. So Robert's asking, does Soup forget that he has no free agency wire? Yeah, even if you did have free agency wire, this is a wild strategy to wait this long at quarterback and only to have Heinzschel and Iamaleava as your 2 starting quarterbacks.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, the waiver wire is great for wide receivers.
Who did he pick there? Did he pick anyone? Did he just skip it?
He might not be in the room. Like, that's my only sort of explanation for what.
Well, now he's throwing a real twist because he didn't pick anybody at 26-4.
I don't even know how that. Yeah, exactly. He doesn't have his queue anymore. Like, it probably just ate through his queue. There's no players left, and so.
So he just didn't. Oh, then he might be really screwed then. So did he? Yes, I guess he. Yeah, maybe he just set a queue and then just went for it. But like, brother, that really
could be 5 players short now, or actually more than that.
Oh wait, am I on the clock? Oh, now I'm on the clock. All right, so wide receiver. Oh yeah, I should be drafting wide receivers, and I just forgot to put a bunch of them in my queue. My ranking. Let's see, who do I got here? I'll go again. Another shot at a potential wide receiver 1. Again, I mentioned earlier, I don't know how much this team's really going to pass, but I'll go Jordan Allen. True freshman last year, broke out for the Nats pretty well, and we'll see
what happens.
See how far that takes me. Again, we're very much in we'll see how far this goes territory.
Yeah, that's basically the argument for every player at this point. It's I'm sure the audience is finding that maybe repetitive, but it is what it is.
Yeah, 30 rounds power 4 only is pretty rough, and we still got 3 rounds to go after this.
Yeah, well, at least there's one pick that won't be made each round, so yes.
We don't know. Maybe he comes back in. Maybe he'll comes back in.
Fair, true.
But yeah, I'm trying to load up some wide receivers, and even wide receivers looking bleak at this point.
Yeah, we are at that point. I don't even know. I haven't even looked at the running back queue in several rounds. I don't even know who's still around. Let's see.
Let's see. I do technically probably need to take one more running back, and I think actually that might be my next pick. There's one guy that I'm pretty in on, or I've started to become a bit more in on.
Oh, now I'm curious. I want to try to figure that out before.
It's probably going to be committee. Probably something that I'm reading too much into. Let me pull up his stats from last year, see if I can come up with an argument for him on the fly. Oh yeah, I'll take that. That's not crazy good, but not terrible either, I guess. This is the kind of stuff we're looking at here this late in the draft. I'm just like, he's not that bad.
Sounds like a guy you really like. So.
Oh, I mean, yeah. I mean, clearly, I've waited 27 rounds, and
exactly.
I could go. Let's see. Let me look at my. Oh.
Does he play in the Big 12 by any chance?
He does play in the Big 12.
Is he in Arizona? One of the Arizona schools?
He is not at one of the Arizona schools.
Okay. Back to the drawing board.
No, you're trying to snipe. Well, you can't snipe me. You're
no, yeah, exactly. I'm just curious, but yeah, probably shouldn't say it out loud, even if I do figure it out.
Oh my god, I got distracted because my thing crashed, and then now I can't remember what I was going to look at. Wait a minute. Oh, he is still on the board. Yeah, I can't remember what I was going to look at now. I got.
That was my strategy, just trying to throw you off there.
Well, I know who I'm still picking, so you didn't throw me off that much. But look at. Okay, that's right. I was gonna look at my team and decide if I want to spend my last running back pick on shoring up my running back room. And low-key, let me just see. No, he's not in the player pool yet. I had a half a thought to draft Desmond Reed, just to be careful.
But wait a minute, he's not in the
player pool.
Yeah, but he's not in the Big 12. Or are you thinking about some other player?
No, I'm thinking about some other player. But just now, I was like, okay, I could go with this one player, or I could shore up and make sure that if Turner goes down, I have the next running back up, or if Reed comes back, I have him and Turner.
Are we expecting these fifth-year guys to eventually start appearing in the player pool?
I don't know, man. I'm so tired of the legal crap that's been going on.
Aren't we all? Yeah.
It's just and the timing of it was even worse. If this happened back when they made the announcement of the 5-year rule, and then a week later it was player sues to have 5th year of eligibility because he didn't know that he could have stayed behind another year. It's okay, that's fine, whatever. Sorry for the sound there. I'm gonna take Zion Johnson out of Cincinnati. He's been getting some buzz, and
that was my next guess was Cincinnati. I wasn't sure which player it was at Cincinnati, but that was the next one.
He's the one that's been getting some buzz. He didn't have a ton of run last year. He had 14 carries for 83 yards, so just under 6 yards per carry. He had a touchdown. The per carry numbers were pretty great. 3.14 yards after contact per attempt. Breakaway percentage is not great, but just good enough that I'll like it. And it's all in a small sample size anyway, so I can't read too much into it, but it's just enough that as my 10th running back in this league, I'll take it. Let's see, what was it? Liam O'Brien. That is not a quarterback I would have taken. Was that Soup? Soup finally took a quarterback and it's a guy I've never heard of. Oh, I feel mean saying that, but I'm just
finally
like...
took a QB who's not a starter.
FTS DevBucks, does Yahoo seem to be a viable platform for Power 4 only Dynasty leagues? I mean, yeah, Justin and I have put our thoughts out about the platform so far. We have our complaints, but in terms of it being a viable platform, I don't see any reason why not. Like, and so especially if somebody's used to playing on it, like, it'll be just fine. For the most part, like, I don't know exactly how, like, what customization options you have in terms of a Dynasty league. I don't think they actually have Dynasty yet. I think it's something they're going to add in the future. So we'll see what you can and can't do versus, like, Fantrax obviously is very famous for just being able to customize basically everything. Mm-hmm. But in the future, we'll see. All right. So we're down to how many quarterbacks left? Because Vizina just came off the board. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 starting quarterbacks in Power 4 left over. We'll see how desperate people become here. Because, let's see, positions. Just crashed my thing again. What the heck? Results. Okay, I just can't look at the positions matrix anymore.
No? Okay, I can look at it. Oh, it crashed it for me as well. Okay.
I guess that's just what it is for everyone. Can't look at that anymore. They saw that I was using it too well, and they were like, nope.
Maybe.
Right. I'm on the clock. And I still need wide receivers, and they're all kind of poo. I have Jordan Dwyer. Might as well just grab another TCU wide receiver, go Ezukanma, who's apparently set to start at the Z position. So,
okay,
I can roll with that.
Might as well take a shot there. That's what we're all doing basically at this stage.
This is all shots at this point.
Yeah, just looking for starters, really. Players that we know are going to be on the field.
I could take another tight end if I wanted to. Let me look at what the tight end position's looking like. Oh God.
Yeah, tight end's not good. I was looking at it earlier.
Oh, I did not know that Jet Carpenter went to Texas Tech. That's new information to me. Good for him. There's some tight end options I could look at here. You know what? I'm gonna do something fun. I have found something fun that I can do, so we're gonna roll with it.
I like the Papal pick there, 28.
Oh wait,
that's good. That's a nice one.
Where did he go off the board? Oh, JJ Buchanan went off the board a couple rounds ago. I was gonna take JJ Buchanan and be like, all right, get a tight end and a wide receiver.
Does he have tight end eligibility on this platform?
No, he has wide receiver eligibility, but it was just gonna be a joke.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, wait a minute. Can we just do a redo of this draft? How did I miss that one?
No. Hey, good luck with your draft, Frog fan.
Yeah, good luck. I assume he's a TCU fan, so good luck to the Frogs.
Yep. Yeah. Good luck to the Frogs of War,
who apparently aren't a rival of Baylor. I was talking to Benjamin.
No,
over the weekend. Oh, they are. Oh, maybe it was Texas Tech that I was asking about because I was like,
I was gonna say, I'm like, Baylor and TCU are big rivals. Maybe that's one of those things of like maybe Ben was being like tongue in cheek of like, well, you say they're a rivalry, but we beat them so much that it's basically not a rival. It's like Georgia Tennessee, right? Where it's like recently, is Georgia Tennessee really a rivalry? We've only beat them like 9 times in a row.
Yeah, well, that's all Georgia's rivals at this point, right? Florida, oh my God, like that. Who's the last one that they've lost to? I guess Florida in 2020.
Yeah, Florida 2020 might have been the last one because Tech tried so hard in 2024, man. Oof.
They've come close. Yeah, they've definitely come close.
Let's see. Okay, we have now reached a point in the draft where freshmen are coming off the board.
Love it.
I see Ethan Feaster there. Obviously can't go by his actual name.
Not on live stream, I guess. Yeah, can't say it out
Nope.
loud. Oh, Noah Mayers. He's like the last tight end I was considering.
I got a couple. I have one. I think I might take a tight end with my next pick here.
Okay.
Just because I'll explain it once we get actually close to the pick.
Yeah, fair enough.
Cool. What are we on? Round 29. Okay, so we have two rounds left. Thank God.
What is this tight end that you're thinking of? Does he play in the SEC?
He does not play in the SEC.
Okay. My mind always gets curious, and I'm trying to guess.
He might have the same last name as the tight end you're looking at in the SEC.
Okay, that's quite interesting. Now I really don't know.
Threw you off.
Yeah, really. Yeah, I thought I had an idea before, but
so I can't help but notice just how slow the picks have drawn to a crawl in the last couple of rounds.
Early parts of the draft, it was like, okay, I could barely get a word in before it was back to me, and now I'm like, okay, how long has it been? I feel like I could have gone to the washroom and back in between picks.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if people are using up their time or if they're just legitimately thinking long and hard about all right, whoever I pick in this range, I'm stuck with the rest of the season.
Yeah, fair enough. It's a high stakes $5 buy-in league, so.
Oh yeah, no.
Want to get it right.
It is not Plug, although he put the actual pronunciation in there. Carp says they're drafting slow because the app sucks. Carp, I really think that's a you problem, man. The app's doing pretty fine for the most part on my end.
Yeah, like I said, there's a couple of UI improvements. They'll no doubt handle those at some point in the future. Overall, pretty smooth process. Or they won't. But I mean, I don't know. It's like they just kicked it off, right? Was it today, the first day or something?
Today is the first day. That's why we're doing this. So
okay, yeah. So I mean, for the first day, I think things are going all right. And over the course of the next few weeks, they'll have time to iron out some of these things.
Yep. All right. So Carp's on the clock. He'll use up the whole time because he can't draft. There you go. Not the tight end I was looking at. Thankfully, you gotta be freaking kidding me, Flores. Robert.
Right before.
Robert. What the heck, bro? You took my man.
I should have known because you were mentioning J.J. Buchanan earlier. I should have known Michigan.
Again, there's gonna be a tight end that's pretty good in that offense. It's just not gonna be J.J. Buchanan because he's gonna be playing wide receiver. But
yeah.
Hogan Hansen's probably your next guy up there, but yeah, I'll take his brotherly namesake here. I'll take Hayden Hansen as my fourth tight end.
Okay.
I think he'll be the number one tight end for Oklahoma this year, and they've been pretty solid with tight ends the last couple of years. So I'll just roll with that.
True. Yeah, good pick.
And then now I have to draft wide receivers. Yeah, Robert said, first time you sniped me in a long time. Yeah, and you did in the 29th round. My God, man. My God. That was brutal. That was absolutely brutal. I was sitting there being like, yeah, I'll just get whoever I want here. Nope.
Just a very random loud sound just hit me. Oh, I guess I think I had the draft room muted and then it unmuted.
Oh, because you had to refresh it. Because
all of a sudden I was just like, what the hell was that sound? Yeah.
Yep, I had the exact same thing happen to me. All right. Final pick, Justin. What you looking at?
Oh my gosh, that was quick. So yeah, right back to it. I actually was wondering if this was the tight end you were thinking of. Odom. Just an intriguing player.
No, definitely an intriguing one, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, look, 30th round of a P4, more likely he's not going to do anything this season.
You could do far worse.
Exactly. Just take a shot on somebody who at least has the upside to do something of significance. We'll see what happens.
I've drafted Fantrax and Blue Chip Drunk just as AF just fine. Yeah, but again, Carp, you've drafted so many leagues in those. Of course you know. Of course you know how to do that even if you're drunk.
Practice makes perfect, yeah.
This is your first league with this one. All right, Soup. I've given up hope on Soup drafting starting quarterbacks.
Yeah, well, he started drafting the position a couple of rounds ago. It's just,
He's not drafting it, but it is the
system.
Is the assistant here. FTS DevBuck says Soup with a QB strategy of all time. Dude, he's gonna pop in the chat tomorrow and he's gonna be like, guys, what happened to my QB? Alright, I'm gonna take a wide receiver here. It's not a room that I love taking a wide receiver out of, but we've seen the wide receiver 2 get plenty of targets here. I'm gonna go Ben Black out of Rutgers. Somebody else has got to catch the ball besides KJ Duff or Antoine Raymond, or there's not really a tight end that could catch it. So Joe says I nominate Soup for the CFF Hall of Fame. If Soup somehow wins this league on the back of just Heinzschel and Iamale Alva, I'm gonna scream, dude. I will scream so badly.
Or if like the starter at Cincinnati or LSU goes down and one of these two guys ends up being like fantastic, like Austin Simmons at Ole Miss last year.
Dude, the amount of luck you would have to get with that, because like Landon Clark, right? Like that means you would have both Levitt go down and likely Longstreet go down as well.
You don't think he's the immediate backup there behind
No.
Levitt? No, yeah.
No.
I guess we'll see. I mean, well, he was pretty like he came from the FCS, didn't he? Like he was a starter. He had a good year. I mean, tough break for him.
Might be Division 2 actually. I don't even know. I think he just skipped the FCS level.
Okay. Well, that makes a little bit more sense.
But and again, if he was on Longstreet, like that's a 4.5 star we're talking about here, right? And it's not like he's done nothing for the last 2 years. Like he was only at USC for 1 year.
Mm-hmm. True.
So I wouldn't write him off quite yet. I don't think we have another Malachi Nelson situation on our hand here.
Yeah, no, that was Nelson. He's still kicking around somewhere, I think.
He
right?
is at Syracuse.
He's
He's battling Amari Odom for the backup job.
Coincidentally, another quarterback that was drafted by Soup, was it? Amari Odom.
Amari Odom.
That's right.
There it is.
There we go.
All right, thanks for the Power 4 only content, Jared. Fun draft on Yahoo. Love the Ben Black pick. I appreciate you, FTS DevBucks. I appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. We got a couple more picks here to finish up here, but again, like this was fun. Definitely more challenging, obviously, with it being only Power 4. I see why Underdog only does 20 rounds because, oh my God, could you imagine if Underdog drafts required you to go 30 rounds every single time?
Well, even you and I are struggling here to find some picks. Imagine,
let alone the average casual player. Like,
exactly.
This got worse than I expected. Like, I think part of it is like I did one Power 4 draft earlier this off season, and I still felt relatively okay by the end of it. But I think it's because we're just sharper drafters now than we were a couple months ago. A couple months ago, you could still get some decent value falling to you in like the last 10 rounds of the draft. Not anymore. We're all pretty familiar with the draft board at this point, and yeah, I just don't think there was much in the way of falling. I feel good about a lot of my late picks, but I can't feel that good about them. So
we got Mr. Irrelevant here. Who we got?
You saw Longstreet. There we go.
Speaking of the devil. Yeah.
There we go. So, all right, we got our 30 rounds here, and I guess we'll do normally we would be at the point now, Justin, where I would say, who are you surprised that went undrafted?
Oh, well, there's so many, Jared. I have a huge list.
There actually is one that I'm actually legitimately shocked to not get drafted at quarterback. Juju Lewis. Oh, Colorado. I know we're not as big on Colorado this year, but like Juju Lewis not coming off in 30 rounds of a Power 4 only draft. That's legitimately shocking to me.
I thought you might have selected him late because I know like you're sort of in on him this year, and I am surprised as well that he didn't get selected. I think if Soup was in the room, he might have. Yeah,
he might have taken the shot. Every one of my running backs got drafted. There are no running backs left in my queue, so there's nothing really much to say there outside of maybe you took Deshaun Bishop. Maybe you should have taken Javen Gordon to just back him up.
Fair enough. Can I even see my queue anymore now that the draft is over? Oh yeah, I can. Oh no, I cannot. Can you?
I can. I'm in a different tab.
Okay, I don't know exactly where I need to go for that. That's something I'll have to figure out later.
Wide receivers, Kobe Howard out of Penn State's been getting some buzz. Ashton Bethel Roman out of Texas A&M. It's kind of an intriguing one. I know he's injured, but like He should probably be that third wide receiver at Texas A&M. Could potentially be the wide receiver too. 0 UCF wide receivers were drafted between Dwayne Thomas and was it Josh Derry?
Mm-hmm.
Again, not guys I would ever expect to come off in a regular draft, but in a 30-round Power 4 only draft, maybe a little surprising. Parker Livingstone out of Oklahoma might be a little surprising.
He was one I had in my queue.
And then really tight end's the only one left. Again, nobody I'm really surprised by. Maybe Lindenmeyer out of Nebraska. That's a bit surprising.
Well, I was going to say the Stanford wide receivers, Nico Brown.
Oh, Nico Brown, good call.
Blanking on the other kid's name. But yeah, because they're replacing CJ Williams last year. Had a really strong end of year. So,
FTS Dev Bucks asks, any other quarterback ones go undrafted? Yes, we do have a couple here. Cole Ballard, I mentioned him earlier. Alessio Milojevic, definitely butchered that. Out of Michigan State, went undrafted. Saras out of Rutgers went undrafted, if you believe he's starting over Lonigan. Billy Edwards out of UNC went undrafted. And then Grunkemeyer out of Virginia Tech went undrafted, and Warren out of Stanford went undrafted. Oh, Hank Brown out of Iowa. How could I forget Hank Brown or Jeremy Hecklinski out of Iowa? How could it? Oh my gosh. How foolish of me.
Exactly. You never want to forget about Iowa's passing attack. Always very prolific. So
you say Caden High. Caden High. Where does he
isn't that the other
Stanford? Oh, Stanford wide receiver. Yep.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for that.
Yeah, that was Andrew Human Ziggy in the chat. So, all right, Justin, we got our big stretch here. That was a lot, especially in the last 10 rounds there. Yeah, we're God, how many weeks away from the season now? 3 weeks away from the season?
It starts. Yeah, well, week 0 is like the last weekend of August.
Oh, so
right? I think it's
4 weeks.
4 weeks. I think we're 4 weeks.
We're 4 weeks. So we got a couple more of these live drafts over the next couple of weeks. Got some fun guests lined up for you guys. And then with CTN, we're gonna be covering the fall news in the upcoming weeks. Justin, you just released what I saw was your final CFF rankings for this year, so you're not going to tinker with those anymore?
If I do, like, I'll let people know on Twitter, and I'll just like re-release it because I can just edit the document. So, I'm sure, and again, fingers crossed it doesn't happen, but every year in August, there is a star player that goes down with an ACL or something unfortunate that happens. And hopefully it doesn't happen this year, but if it does, that'll of course impact things, and I'll make some adjustments there. And then, I'll be back to just like pumping out individual articles on individual players, stuff that I usually do as well.
Well, give us a tease. Who do you got going on?
0. I have nothing in my draft. So this off season, I've slowed down a little bit with my writing. Just things have been kind of, in IRL. I was out, traveling this weekend. So, but I will be getting back to writing this week. I promise to the subscribers who are watching. I'm not even going to eat any more food tonight. I'll starve myself tomorrow until I get this next article written. Mark my words.
Don't do that.
No, that's what it's going to take, I think. So.
Well, I'm glad you had a great week. I'm glad you got a little taste of America this week, going to Austin. I was jealous as hell with you guys over there. Again, getting Felix and Matt and all of them over there as well. And then I still want to meet Ben Jacob at one point, man.
Oh yeah, no, he was great, and his dad. His dad came.
Oh, was
down
his dad
too.
there too? Nice.
Papa Bear, I believe he was going by. He was one of the drafters, and sharp guy. Benjamin was sniping me. Like we were going back and forth, eating each other's cues. So I mean, it's man, sharp drafter, good guy. It was a great collection of guys. Actually, it was cool meeting those guys.
Oh yeah, I hung out with obviously Eric, Josh, and Elliot, and all of them the week before, and like I joked about it on Twitter. I'm like, I might just book a ticket to Austin, just go hang out with you guys this weekend again.
I saw that. Man, that would have been sick. That because we had a whole cast of characters there. Felix obviously was there too. So yeah, man, it was a good group.
Alrighty. Well, again, unfortunately, we do have to end the stream at one point here. So again, Justin, I appreciate you for coming on. Appreciate all of you guys in the chat. We had a very lively chat tonight. It was a ton of fun. Like I said, with that, we've come to the end of our show. Appreciate all of you guys for listening. If you have not already, make sure you leave a like on the stream. Make sure you comment afterwards and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of these in the future. If you're listening, or no. Make sure you guys check out the rest of the Campus to Canton podcast network for shows rated you on pretty much anything you could think of related to college fantasy game. And like I said, we'll see you guys back here next Sunday. We'll be back on the regular schedule next week. We had to push it today just because we wanted to make sure Yahoo was alive when we did it. But we'll be back on Sunday night with another great guest, with another, I think we're just going to do a normal 30-round Fantrax full FBS draft. So be able to look out for that. Until then, I really appreciate all of you guys, and I hope you guys have a wonderful and blessed week. See y'all. Gotcha, button.